Alright. What the hell is going on? We got ourselves a GSL qualifying match between Shopify Rebellion's ByuN in the bottom left side of the map and Rogue in the top right. I don't know how long these matches are. I don't know how epic they are. I don't know if I'm going to cast many matches together and throw them all out in one video. But I basically selected a bunch of the players that I thought was really interesting that did play qualifying matches in the GSL for Season 2 and was like, we've got to take a look. I mean, ByuN here, micro god, super aggressive player, loves to get in his opponent's face against a player who's so strategically sound in Rogue, but does sometimes buckle under the pressure of insane Terran aggression. Sometimes he's just a little bit too greedy, doesn't make enough banelings, you know? Sometimes it feels like Rogue outsmarts his opponent and then just, it's like, he just needs to stop this one push and it's in the bag, and then that one push does get through. That being said, he's so clever at blocking a lot of his opponent's openings, and he's been playing very safe recently. We know he's been opening this link speed before third base pretty much every game recently. Oh, he's forgotten link speed this one, though, or he's chosen to skip it. Be a bit of an odd choice. Oh my, he's leaving on gas. My man's going to Roach Horn, perhaps. Okay, so looks like he wants to go 4 queens straight away, which is why maybe he's delaying it. He's saving his minerals. He's putting 2 overlords right now. 2 queens. Oh, almost gets a surround on that. But ByuN doesn't actually get a kill. No focus fire there as he was busy escaping. So, yeah, we've got 2 queens out. 3rd and 4th queen starts immediately. That's what he was saving his minerals for. But he's still mining gas in the main. Okay, guys. Rogue is doing something really weird right now. And it's either 0 IQ or 300 IQ. So, we're going to have to wait and see. So far, very big inefficiency because notice he's missing so much mining on his natural. And he's banking up gas with no way to spend it right now. Nice spore trick on the first one. Does still lose a drone, though. Those Reapers can always jump out the left side of this base. Yeah. This almost looks like Cyril's build versus Maru from Hecate, says Jack. The difference is that was a 15-15. With that build, this natural was fully saturated by 3 minutes 10. And there was only 2 workers on gas, and the lair was faster. Rogue is doing a bizarro version of this. He's gonna go mutas. Is he? Second gas on the way in a lair? I think he's playing 2-base mutalist, guys. Wow. That's old school. Not usually something people do against this sort of Terran play. You know what's interesting as well, guys? He doesn't really have any scouting, other than the fact that there was barracks on the low ground. He doesn't have any info, and this is, in fact, a 3rd barracks transition before factory and starport. He's going Roach Horn Evo? Okay, Rogue's builds are bizarre, guys. This is the weirdest. He's going Roach Horn Evo chamber now? This is very odd. Rogue is really just figuring the game out on his own. I've always said Rogue's one of the smartest players out there. I mean, I've definitely seen some inefficiency in his play since he came back. Obviously, a bit of rust from the military. But there's been really good, like, strategic ideas. Like, when he gets scouted doing something that's a bit of a gamble, he almost always pivots in a different direction. That's been something he's been, like, so solid on doing it against Protoss. But I haven't watched a lot of his Zerg vs. Terran yet. I mean, his Zerg vs. Terran was mostly good counterattacks, but a little bit weak on the frontal engagements, right? We did see Rogue kind of slip up a few times where the opponent would kind of push in the front and he'd just attack into it when he could have pulled back and given up a base, and that cost him some games. Now he's got a 3rd on the way. He's got Carapace, Roach Speed. But it's very hard to kill a player on 3 barracks. That being said, there's no tank production yet. This factory probably swaps off and builds a tech lab. If he can get even 1 siege tank out before the Roach push comes, there's a decent chance for him. It's essentially a big numbers game. Oh, actually the upgrade timing could be good as well. Because it's looking like a 2-base Roach all in from Rogue. He's so blind, though. Man, this is fascinating. I'm so surprised at the way he's doing this, because don't get me wrong, guys, there's 2-base Roach pushes to punish 2 racks, but normally you're hitting those at the base no later than 5:45. 6 minutes, maybe at the very latest. Rogue is going to be moving out soon. It looks like he was planning to hit about 6 minutes 30, but with no information, he doesn't even realize that there is an attack coming. Or maybe he does. Maybe he knows that ByuN's doing this every game. ByuN is very predictable. We've got to keep this in mind. Rogue studies his opponents way better than anybody else. And actually, ByuN does the same builds over and over. I reckon Rogue knew exactly what he was going to go for. And he's like, hey, if I can just crush this, we can do it. Ooh, here we go. Roach Ravager coming forward. Marines trying to pick up. The Marines and the Reapers trying to pull away. The double drop has to go forward. So he does ambush the first army, but he only gets a few Marines, so it's not that much damage just yet. Oh, if ByuN can get that queen, that would be nice. Does get one queen. If you get the other queen, that would be really good, because remember, there's only 3 queens on the map right now. There's no anti-air, really. If you get rid of those queens, these drops are a massive nuisance. There's a tank there. He's got Marines, combat shields, and stim are both done. Marines in the main doing very well for ByuN. Notice they're fighting just a few roaches at a time. Over on the other side of the map, the tank is getting some big shots off on Rogue's Roach Ravager. Goes back from the high ground to the low ground. ByuN, a big old nuisance. And it does force the barracks to lift, delaying Marine production. But remember, Rogue's only on 41 drones on 2 base. He's in a terrible spot. Sorry guys, a little bit of a sneeze tickling my nose. I feel like when I get excited casting and there's a lot of stuff going on lately, I'm like, oh my god, my nose is like, hey, have a sneeze, buddy. Managed to suppress that one. Normally not a big suppressor of them, but if you get them early enough, it's not too bad. If you're already 3/4 of the way and you suppress the sneeze, that's pure evil, man. Don't do that to yourself. But if it's already just starting and you get that finger to that nose quickly enough, you can actually push up underneath the bottom of your nose and it will stop it. Second Evo's on the way. Rogue's build, definitely not putting him in an amazing spot. On the other hand, ByuN is stuck on 2 base. It takes a while to rebuild these reactors. Funnily enough, ByuN has no tech labs now because he rebuilt the tech lab with a reactor. He's going to go out with a drop. He's got a second engineering bay and an armory coming in around the same time as the second Evo comes up for Zerg. I feel like, man, I'm thinking Infestors would be amazing as a transition unit. You guys know I talk about Infestors a lot because I love them, but in this particular scenario, a Baleen transition is going to suck until you get a much bigger economy. But Infestors are actually decent on a medium to low economy. Now, there is some roaches on the left trying to defend this double drop. ByuN could focus fire a little bit. It doesn't quite trade. Saves all the Marines. Only 56 workers for Rogue right now. He's just massing Roach Ravager. ByuN has a better income. ByuN just has to be super careful. Even this move out, I would say, is a little risky for ByuN. Like, it's probably the right call. Don't be wrong. He sees most of the roaches are at home, but he's just got to be careful that he's keeping up enough pressure that Rogue can't suddenly spring across the map and take him out. Because if Rogue can collapse, break the tanks, ByuN's screwed. Like, having 4 medevacs worth of Marines on the map is actually very expensive, which is why he brings these guys back. Because he's saying, well, I need to make sure I don't die here. Rogue's a real tricky player. I need to make sure I don't die. Now, Rogue's on 72 workers, ByuN's on 66, but ByuN has a 4th command center building, and it looks like he's willing to play late game. Traditionally, Rogue was a far better late game player than ByuN, but, you know, Rogue's been in the military in the last few years. ByuN has become a well-rounded beast of StarCraft. He has definitely become a solid late game player. He's not the best in the world, but he is very solid there. And Rogue was playing in a time when, you know, he went to the military just before, like, Glittering Ashes, I believe, and stuff, and the real turtle meta developed around 2021, 2022, and that was the time when people's late game really shot up a notch. Nice hatchery snipe on the right side for ByuN. He does manage to take out a couple roaches, and good hot pickup. Those medevacs are damaged. Marines running through the middle. Oh! Rogue out of position. Remember I said sometimes Rogue's weakness is just when a Terran just does a crazy attack. He's just a little too slow to react. Now, there's not enough space in the medevacs for the Marines, so ByuN consciously sacrificed about 12 Marines. 26 in total this game. 12 Marines go down there, or so, maybe 15, to get a hatchery and a bunch of drones, but that is worth it. This is the thing. I always feel like Rogue's, if you don't catch him off with, like, a split-second attention issue in ZVT, he's nigh unstoppable. But he is definitely a little bit slower than guys like Dark, I would say, when it comes to just, like, his ability to handle stuff going on everywhere. I think his planning's better than Dark. I do, in general. I think you look at, you know, when he brings together a series, his late game technicality. But guys like Dark and ByuN sometimes seem like they're just a little faster than Rogue at, like, the raw multitasking. Now, I'm sure some players would disagree with me on that, but I'm pretty confident. I've looked at so many Rogue games over the years, and this matchup especially is the one where you see that come into play, because Zerg vs. Terran is so fast-paced, so mechanical of a matchup. Marines coming in. They're going to snipe that hatchery as well. Does get cancelled. Rogue's going Roach, Hydra, Lurker, Viper, which is very weak to tank Ghost. ByuN has 2 factories up, and his Ghost Academy is finished, and he's got 8 barracks. 3 with Tech Labs coming up now as well, or even 4, actually, because he already had one with a Tech Lab. So ByuN's going to have mass Ghost tank production. If Rogue doesn't hit a timing soon with his Lurkers, his army hits an expiry date, where he can survive with Lurkers, but he can't really make any big plays And this is a very bad position to be in for the Zerg. Oh, he's even going to lose the Lurker Den. Goodbye. Any idea of doing that sort of timing is gone now. ByuN will save a few of these Marines. He redrops on the right side. Another hatchery cancel. ByuN is having a lot of success in this game, just with the multi-prong. And don't get me wrong, this is not Rogue being a massive noob. It's just the style he's chosen to play is not very good at dealing with drops. You don't have a lot of anti-air. You skimp on queens. He's only got one queen, which in the early game is really bad for Rogue. But now that we're getting to the late game, it's actually good. The reason is, guys, you've got 81 drones wasting supply that doesn't help your army. If you have 10 queens as well, it's another 20 supply that weakens your overall army supply. So Rogue's making the decision to say, dude, I'm not building Zerglings. I don't need injects. Like, I'm just building... I mean, he is making link speed now, and he probably should go banelings eventually in this game. He might need to build some queens or some more hatcheries eventually, but right now, Roach Hydra Lurker, you don't need injects for that. You can actually basically just mass units. Does hot pick up that. Roach Ravager coming in on that right side. There is a siege tank there. Oh, seeing those ghosts, that's got to feel bad. Nice Biles, though. Does hit a few Marines. Nidus Worm's on the way. Rogue and his Hail Mary Nidus Lurker in the back door. He's won so many games with that over the years. Right now, though, he is not well set up for this late game, whereas ByuN is. So he's got to find a way to trade out his very inefficient Roaches, Ravagers, replace this with a better army. He's going Baneling Nest now. As I said, he's going to have to go Banelings. Thing is, as Liberators come in as well, he might even need Corruptors to deal with that. There's just so much tech Rogue has to catch up on. Yeah, he's building 3 queens now. Biles do come down, but snipes pretty damn effective. Clearing a little bit of this creep is ByuN. It feels like ByuN just is a little bit ahead this entire game from start to finish. And Biles are coming down. Nice abducts on the Ghost. I like those abducts on the Ghost, but there's no units there to finish it. The Roach Ravager come in from 2 sides. They will get stopped in their tracks. Those Ghosts that got abducted ended up killing all of the Vipers, guys. 5 Vipers have died in this game, and the Lurker upgrades have not finished. That is a huge problem. When you're relying on this army, you're relying on Lurkers to defend you. These Lurkers only 8 range. They don't have the Adapter Talons either for the faster movement speed. This feels like ByuN is just all over it. Rogue trying to rally together. Oh, he comes in from multiple sides. Oh my god, ByuN! Oh, ByuN! ByuN messes up and loses through it. Two full medevacs there. Okay, that one barely does escape. But definitely a bit of an overcommitment there for ByuN in the tail end of that fight. Ooh. Three more command centers are building. How many is he up to? 3 orbitals, 2 planetaries. Rogue's got to get off the Lurker Tech, guys. The Lurker Tech is not going to work against tank Ghosts. What you want is a Broodlord swap if they get really heavy on tanks. If they get above 10 tanks, you do want to swap into Broodlords, Infestor. Infestors to cover against the Ghosts with Fungal Zoning. Broodlords to use the tanks. You're not going mass Broodlord necessarily. Just 6, 8 Broodlords is usually enough to break through the tank line. And you want to go into a Lingbane Hydra usually. Lingbane Hydra Viper is very common, something like that. Maybe using Burrowed Infestors to catch the Ghosts. Oh, man. Those Lings don't have any melee upgrades, guys. Lings are kind of terrible right now. As I said, Rogue really needs to catch up on the late game. This is what I'm talking about in terms of if the game's going to just slowly crawl to the later stages. You can tell that ByuN has gotten so much better at this stage of the game. Whereas it does feel like Rogue is using an older style. And he's kind of at that point where it's like he's massing Lurkers into mass tank Ghost that hard counters it. So can you win? Yeah, if you get a Nidus in the back. If ByuN, you flank him somehow, you stop the Ghost from sniping and kill them all. These are all long shots, though. You know, you've got no anti-air to really kill the medevacs. He can always pick up and get out. He's got 12 siege tanks with more in the way, plus 2 vehicle weapons. Nidus Worm does go up in the back of the base. Changeling. Nice sneaky way of getting vision in there, but that gets shut down. Another Nidus Worm goes up at home. Rogue throws that Nidus up. I think that's kind of like a panic Nidus Worm. You can also technically use this to load units in a little bit quicker. Hydras are going to come down here. They don't have muscular augments just yet, so there's an upgrade missing there. +1 melee is on the way, which is good. He's finally going to start catching up on those. He will be able to kill this command center. Nice. Good snatch for Rogue. Now, ByuN is a player who, even when he plays a good late game, sometimes gets antsy and kind of runs forward and just tries to win the game, when the best bet is to just chill. In this scenario, just slowly expand, and you can't really lose. But if you get out of position enough, maybe. Oh, the planetary and the tanks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the Lurker's just running past, but there's so many tanks here. Yeah, this is not great for Rogue. I mean, he'll take out one of the tanks, but look at that. Those lurkers are just getting shot down. As I said, lurkers are very good if you hit a sharp timing attack with them. There's a window where they excel as a unit. Oh, does leave that one there. In the bottom right, Ravager Hydra gets wrecked by snipes and tanks. Scan finally goes down. That lurker does fall as well. There's an attack in the middle. ByuN does need to drop a scan to make sure he can deal with these units. Tanks and turrets are out there. Looks like a few tanks getting cleared, so nice pickups here for Rogue, actually clearing a bit of area on the map. That's kind of what he needs to do. ByuN's going to counterattack. Baneling speed has not started yet. Oh gosh, it's just started, I mean. That is a huge problem. Ghost on the right side. Lurker Hydra trying to come in. Siege tank's looking really good right now for ByuN. Yes, they're going to get overwhelmed, but once again, it's a tiny chunk of his army. He's trading 8,000 resources more efficiently. He's going to retreat to the planetary. The Zerglings and the Banelings, not enough, and he's on 24 Hydras. This is way too many Hydras for Rogue. He's going to go mass Lurker again. Rogue is either going to teach us that Lurkers are a much better unit past their window than we ever thought, or he's just desperate because he doesn't really have any other options. He doesn't have a great Aspire. He doesn't have that much. Maybe Infestors could do it. I like that. Nidus Worm. Nidus Worm goes up behind. Nidus Worm goes up behind, but ByuN has had his eyes open for this. That Siege tank and the Marines should be able to deal with it on the front. Looks like his Ghost got jumped on by the Zerglings. Lurkers come in as well. Take out the Siege tanks. Rogue with the Nidus distraction gets a cheeky ambush on the front lines. Actually closes the unit's lost gap a little bit there. It's about 19 to 26, down to about 7,000 resource loss difference. Gets some lurkers on the south as well. Dude, ByuN starting to show some moments of frailty, so a little bits of weakness here. Dude, if Rogue can bring this back, this would be absolutely huge for him. To have a game that's just been rough for you from start to finish and then win it would be massive. I'm not saying he's winning yet, though. He's still got a lot of work to do. Snipes there coming in. He could just stim on these because they are shooting the planetary unless Rogue retargets them. Planetary on this side does go down to those lurkers. Rogue doing a good job of using these lurkers. He's playing this like a TVT. For those who don't know, lurkers are basically like siege tanks in their function. Oh god, ByuN! ByuN does get jumped on this side, but he stims, he spreads, and even though the first lurker volley was brutal, looks like he will clean those lurkers up and manage to break out of that. Mauling Bane is being rebuilt as well as Hydras. Rogue spent his entire bank though, guys. He's out of bank right now. Don't get me wrong, ByuN's not max. ByuN needs to slow the heck down and turtle up right now. The worst thing ByuN could do is move out because he's lost so many tanks. He lost a lot of different units. He needs to just slow down and turtle up. Oh my god, Rogue's going to shove it. Rogue's going to find a bit of weakness on this angle. There is Bio coming in from the left as well, but dude, this is huge. Those ghosts stirp out on the right into the lurkers. I cannot believe it. Rogue, just with lurker positioning, has actually got himself back into this game. That tank on the right side is the last bastion. As I said, you need to be so defensive as ByuN. You've let way too many tanks get sniped here. Rogue using the Nidus distraction, but oh, maybe not quite enough to bust through. Nonetheless, look at the units lost tab, down to 6,000 resource loss difference. These last few minutes, Rogue's been out trading ByuN, something that is never meant to happen with lurkers against tank ghosts. As I said, Terran has the better composition, but technically, lurkers are more mobile than siege tanks, and that's what he's using to his advantage. And the tanks are there. Scan goes down. A few of these lurkers will fall. Rogue's got to unburrow. He's got to get out of here, man. He's got to unburrow and get out of there. He's losing a lot of... He's just going to jump on top. The mad lad. Rogue the mad lad. Oh my god. He just jumps on top. He's got such a numbers advantage at this point. He can get away with it, man. He's got a lurker on the right side doing damage on that planetary as well. And he just keeps making more lurkers. And Rogue says, lol, 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 lol. People said lurkers hit an expiry date. To be fair, I don't think he proved any differently. Rogue just played better than ByuN. That's all we can say about this. He simply played better. He pinpricked him in multiple areas. He kept distracting him with the Nidus over and over and jumping on him whenever he wasn't looking. Whenever he left a few tanks on their own, Lings jumped on them. Whenever he left a few units on their own, Lurkers jumped on them. This is incredible play by Rogue, and it's getting massive damage. ByuN does manage to hold off that wave, though. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that was a big turnaround, actually. ByuN holding there. I thought he was dead because the numbers were so crazy, but that pack of bio, those two tanks do hold on. He's got this command center landed on the left. It is in orbital. ByuN cannot take... If he takes this base and this base at the same time, that would be a terrible decision. It's a decision we've seen many Terran pros make under pressure. Oh, gosh, don't do this. It's basically free kills. Guys, the classic thing here is you're losing because you're less mobile, so you need to make sure you just focus your defense around one base at a time. If he's willing to just lift this and run it away, then he can focus on taking this bottom right, but you can't defend both at once. And this is such a common mistake Terrans make when their adrenaline gets pumping, where they're like, I'm just going to take both corners at once. And it's like, dude, Zerg already has the mobility advantage. You're giving him 2 possible areas to fight. Looks like ByuN is going to commit to defending the left side of the map. And he's not pulling those SCVs off the right, which is a bit of a bummer. I like this drop. I like this drop. Marines doing very well. Hydra's coming in. Hydra's coming in. Oh, get out of there, ByuN. Not boosting another medevac. It's the second time he's loaded and ran a drop away without boosting. He barely gets it out. Boosting only after coming back a second time. Those lurkers and lings on the right side running around. Hydra Bane over here as well. Hanging out with the overseers. Drones going to the bottom right. Here we go. He's got a little bit of bio and a tank, but not a lot. And remember, that's not a planetary. Mass lurker up the guts. Rogue wants to finish it off. He doesn't have much of an army supply lead, so he has to get big damage here. ByuN's done a good job of pulling out of lurker range for the most part. The snipes are landing on those lurkers. He's got to wait for those lurkers to unburrow and come forwards. Another command center does go down. The full medevac gets F2'd back into the Hydras. Unfortunate mistake there for ByuN. Does cost him big time. He's down 30 army supply. He's at less than half the workers. And having his new base denied is most likely the first nail in the coffin. Rogue has a massive income. He's on 95 drones, mass Hydraling Bane, which is a more standard comp. He's still got lurkers in the mix, but he's doing very, very well. Tanks outrange lurkers. Yes, they do, guys. 13 range for siege tanks, but much less mobile. Lurkers much faster. And, of course, you do need to have detection to deal with them. So that's the give and take there. And I think Rogue really used the advantages of the lurker very well. You know, whereas ByuN, when he pulled back a few times, he left his tanks on their own. Tanks without a lot of support. Not that powerful a unit. So many Lings and Banes coming in. Getting ready for the two-sided engage. There's no tanks. Pre-spread comes in here for ByuN. He's trying to pull back. My gosh, the Baneling count is just rolling over the Ghosts and the Marines. Yes, there's more behind it, but there's so many lurkers as well coming in that haven't even reached the action. Baneling's taking out the SCVs and the Marines. Medevac accidentally unloading in the middle of the fight. ByuN and loaded medevacs in the middle of fights. Name a more iconic duo. He's also got his rally going into the fight. Rogue making a crazy comeback. He was in a terrible position at 14, 13 minutes, and he just works his way back into it, man. Just works his way back into it with lurkers running in on multiple angles, sniping planetaries, picking them off, and just kind of saying, hey, you got to deal with this here. Now you got to deal with this over here. Oh, by the way, you left your tanks in the middle of the map. I'm going to jump on them. This was a really good recovery from Rogue in game one. And it goes to show why Rogue is such a special player, because even with what I would argue are a little outdated opening build orders, a pretty poor no big wins. Let's say no big wins. In the whole first 15 minutes of this game, no big wins for Rogue. But he just kind of keeps macroing, keeps adding upgrades, works his way ever so slowly into the melee upgrades, into the Banelings, and he just finds, with that tenacity, a way to bring it back. That was an excellent game one for Rogue. All right, well, that was a rough game one for ByuN, wasn't it, man? I did not expect him to lose from that position. Even though I know Rogue's tricky, I was like, look, maybe Rogue swaps into Broodlords, catches a bunch of tanks out, pushes through, swaps back into Lingbane Hydra, gets a Nidus in the back door, and starts to just kind of, you know, you blow up an expansion on one side with a Nidus Worm, then you, you basically, you know, Nidus Worm in the back, Lingbane rolls into an edge base, suddenly the Terran loses control of a lot of their economy, and you start just catching units out in the open. And to be fair, that is kind of what Rogue did, was catching units out of the open, but it was doing it with lurkers, which is not the most mobile composition. Now, Rogue is, I believe, scouting for a proxy barracks by the looks of it, guys. So he's decided to go 16 hatchery, but also send another drone out, just to make sure there's no proxy Marines going on. So Rogue very wary of ByuN just coming in with Marines and SCVs in the early stages. Now, ByuN's actually gone command center first. If Rogue studied hard enough and he knew that, he's like, look, it's either proxy racks or command center first on site delta. And if he went and took 3 hatch before pool, I would actually love it. I'd be like, that would take such balls. Obviously, he's not doing it. He's going hatch gas pool. But that would just be a crazy amount of preparation as well, right? To know something like that. And those are the sort of moves I expect from Mr. Rogue. Double gas coming up for ByuN. It's going to be a tech opening. No 2 or 3 barracks in this command center first. Going to be a factory for Hellions. Obviously a little slower than a 1 racks expand, but he's going to have more economy for it. And he takes a second barracks. Oh! Is that the build order for 211 off CC first? Do you get your double gas there? I guess you do, guys. I guess you do. I don't really play a lot of Command Center first, and Command Center first 2-1-1 is, I feel like, pretty rare recently. I mean, it happens. We'll have to keep our eyes on how this build evolves. Notice he's only got 2 workers on gas to optimize his mineral mining. And it is straight into reactor. So I imagine he's probably going to go straight tech lab and stim as well. And then will be tech lab, factory, then stim, then starport. Is usually the order for a normal 2-1-1. Mules are dropping. Notice he drops the mule in the main in case Zerglings run in. Rogue has gone Ling Speed into third base, so this is his more standard opening, which I do prefer. But downside of Rogue's opening, guys, he's built 4 Zerglings and Ling Speed against a guy who has 0 aggression until 5.5 minutes. So ByuN's opening is really crisp here. It's greedy at the start, and it's not getting punished by anything, number 1. Number 2, Rogue's opening is exceptionally safe by building fast Ling Speed and 4 Zerglings for no actual, defense needed this early. This means when ByuN's 2-1-1 hits, it's going to be harder for Rogue to defend because his economy is building slower comparatively. So ByuN's kickstarting his economy really hard with the CC first. He's going to, potentially hit a really sharp double medevac timing. And then you're going to have Rogue who's like, oh, I'm behind a few workers. I made a quick Ling Speed that served no function. And this is just build orders. Mapping out well for ByuN, badly for Rogue. Doesn't mean ByuN's a genius, Rogue's an idiot. Just means that the way they chose to play this game happens to pan out for ByuN. There's always an element of kind of chance and just fate in terms of how the builds line up a little bit, I guess. 4 more drones do come in. 6 queens building right now for Rogue. Now, one weakness I saw last week when we were casting Rogue is he put down way too many creep tumors, and as a result, he didn't have any transfuse energy saved on his queens. So what I'd like to see from him is just get maybe 2 or 3 more creep tumors at most, and then save your energy so that you can transfuse your queens when those marines arrive. He's got a little while. First 2 medevacs just starting now. Lots more marines building. And for ByuN, is he just going to go a 3rd barracks here? I think he's going to build a 3rd barracks and a reactor. Or maybe a 3rd barracks to swap onto this reactor, actually. Yeah, single engineering bay, that's a big sign of aggression. It means there's no quick 3rd base. He wants to get +1 attack, and he wants to get at least 3 barracks, potentially 5 barracks in the near future. But he will go for tanks first and foremost. Great ring of vision for Rogue. I love this setup. Overlords and Zerglings in a bit of a spready. His Overlords at the front need to pull away, though. He really needs to pull these Overlords back so there's not easy kills sitting out there. And he's going Roach Warren. Oh, okay. He did this last time on this map as well. He's doing the 8 queen Zergling defense into mass Roach. He's going to probably try and surprise with a 1-1 Roach timing. Ooh, Marine drops coming here. He saved some transfuse energy this time. Great adjustment after he died last week because of this. He's only got 1 though. He's only got 1 transfuse available, and that Overlord does die. But not too bad losing 1 Overlord. He does have 30 Zerglings with a lot more coming. Creep tumors immediately get focused down. Good micro by ByuN. Rogue doesn't want to waste too much energy. He should probably use the high energy queen to drop a tumor so that he's not taking any transfuses away from his army. He does just that. Then he drops one on a low energy as well. ByuN skirting the edges, looking to keep that pressure up. Still no... Oh, he does have a 3rd barracks up now. Yeah, he's built a 3rd barracks on the reactor. So he should be up to 5 marines at a time in the near future. Double Evo's coming up. Rogue's on only 46 workers, though. Rogue's build is very awkward, guys, because he's invested so much in Ling Queen. Transitioning to Roaches from here doesn't make a lot of sense against ByuN's build, but it's the same problem Rogue had in Game 1 is that he doesn't scout. No Overseer or anything. Because he didn't know what ByuN's opening was, he probably thought, oh yeah, Roach Ravage is a good transition. Not against this build. I mean, it could keep him alive, but he's doing it off such a low economy. It's definitely... The first fight probably decides this game. If he can surround the first tanks or bile them, maybe he can hang on. It's all about this fight. This fight probably decides this entire match. Rogue needs to defend his base. He doesn't have the economy to bounce back if he takes a loss here. Biles are being dodged. Ling wraparound is huge. Massive Ling wraparound for Rogue. But the Marines are doing a lot of damage. No upgrades on either side. The Marines just cleave through those 0-0 Zerglings, and they do manage to trade out okay. The tanks being cleared, though, is big. If Rogue can respread his creep, get out a Force of Roach Ravager, stabilize on 4 base, and then somehow find the money to start that 1-1 upgrades, he'll be good. Right now, though, he doesn't have any gas spare. He's trying to drone up, and ByuN actually has a 3rd command center building, so this is still a very close game. Man, I'm so fascinated watching Rogue because it's almost like part of me forgot just how different his play is. He really does not care about efficiency nearly as much as tricking his opponent and having some sort of strategic advantage. And that's why he's going Roach Ravager here. Roach Ravager is so good at defending these 2-base pushes. Oh, good focus fire for ByuN though. Gets a Ravager and a Morphing Ravager. That's costly. Roach Ravager, like I said, very good for staving off these 2-base all-ins, but ByuN's actually transitioning into a macro game. He's just trying to be annoying now. Gets the creep, gets the Overlord. He's still got the drop on the right side as well, but Rogue finds them. Nicely done. Gets a Marine. 4th and 5th barracks are building reactors. Double engineering bay is almost up. Don't get me wrong, there's an upgrade advantage for ByuN, but Rogue now has found the room to start his Infestation Pit and Hydrogen. He's going to make the same transition as the last game into that Hive Tech Lurker. Marines come in. They do defend after losing only a single SCV. Could have been much worse there. And that Orbital Command Center starts. 68 workers for Zerg, going up to 8 gas. His creep control really low, though. This is the big problem. Rogue does not have a lot of creep spread because ByuN was just in his face. No creep on this central path. He is respreading in the north and the south. +2 weapons on the other side. ByuN's upgrades starting to look very fearsome. His depot production's been decent. Yep, starts extra depots right on time. Very nice. 48 Marines and 4 siege tanks on the front. There's Lings still being built for Rogue right now. They can absorb tank shots, but they're not going to do any damage. Not against 1-1 Marines. Roach Ravager's about to have its 1-1 finish. We'll see how this next fight goes. Even army supply is very good for ByuN. ByuN is definitely ahead on the army right now. Rogue has a massive income advantage, but ByuN's not giving him time to get there. ByuN is going to push in right now. He says that 20 worker advantage will not have the time to pay off. I will shove in right here with my Marines and my tanks on the back line. And so far, some very big tank shots. He's doing really well. The Marine ball just hard to engage with. Now, Rogue's bought time for 1-1. And even though his army supply is ahead, you got to realize he hasn't really had time for those extra workers to pay for themselves. It's also Roach Ravager supply. Some of the most low efficiency supply in the entire game. Oh, the Ravagers on the left side will bile down a tank. One siege tank does fall, but oh my gosh, the Roach Ravager is almost completely gone. He gets a second tank, but at what cost? Biles do land on some of those Marines in the middle, but a lot of the Ravagers, I mean, all of the Ravagers are gone except for one. The Marines are still out front. A very close fight here, but look at the units lost tab. 2-1 in favor of ByuN. Oh my gosh, 2-1? That is ridiculous. Yeah, this position, I mean, if you don't break the position on the first big engage as a Zerg, it usually feels pretty bad. He even saves the siege tank there, guys. Red hit point siege tank gets picked up. ByuN's going to gather up, wait for 2-2, wait for the second factory, and no doubt a 4th command center is next on the menu as well. Rogue's 5th base goes down in the bottom left side. His creep spread is still very minimal. Just so little creep spread. And he starts his 2-2 now. He starts his lurker range. I mean, maybe he can buy time with lurkers and just do what he did last game. ByuN's supply is like lower than his. And that keeps making me think like maybe Rogue's in a good spot. And then I'm like, it is Roach Ravager's supply. It's, you know, it's still bad supply for now, but he's got 83 workers on 4 base. That's the thing that gives him strength. Ah, that's unfortunate. Losing that 5th base is a big problem because his main and natural are starting to run out of minerals. So he's lost half the minerals in the main. So he's got a few extra workers there. But this one's going to mine out. You can see 100 minerals, 300 minerals, 85 minerals, 180 minerals. So in the next minute or two, suddenly you're going to have 8 extra workers here with nowhere to mine. Rogue says, you know what? I'll just take that right side base. That is fine. Now, he's still building so many Zerglings, which is fascinating because Lings are really good for absorbing tank shots, but without melee upgrades, they're pretty bad at doing run-bys or actually doing any damage. So I always wondered if it's worth it to mix in a sprinkling of Zerglings in these sort of games with Ling speed just to kind of spread out front and take the first tank volley. Rogue seems to think, yes, it's absolutely worth it. This game, well, maybe give us some answers. Roaches and Ravagers on that left side. They do force the pickup, but the 5th base does get killed on that right side. And this hatchery, even the 4th is deep in the red. He has to fight. He has to fight, but he can't defend it. Oh, he loses his 5th and his 4th. Rogue's economy is in the dumps. Drilling Claws coming up behind this Rogue. Sorry, ByuN is getting ready to transition into an anti-Ling Bane force, as he knows that's usually the late game against Ghosts. Marines come forward. The Lurkers pull back. ByuN takes out one of those and does pull back. Dude, nice play here for ByuN. The Marine drop in the main does get cleaned up, but takes a Queen or so out with it. Queen and a Roach, not too bad. Lurkers on that north side, not to mention Viper. Oh, Abduct's looking good. Abducting 2 siege tanks. Nicely done by Rogue. Rogue has to dig deep into his efficiency hat right now. He needs to find a way to just hang on for dear life. And ByuN realizes, well, you know what? If I just keep forcing some messy trades, it's always going to favor me. So if I rally my army down the south, push this base, and then do a triple drop, you're going to be completely screwed. And you know what? Without any parasitic bomb energy available, that's a big problem. The Vipers are coming back, but they don't have energy. They could parasitic bomb those medevacs, would be huge, but they can't. Hydras do not have upgrades. The Hydras do not have groove spines right now, guys. It is 2-2 versus 2-2 in the melee range, or the carapace range, but the Marines in the main are mincing everything up. The Lurkers will finally defend that on the south, though. He's been broken completely. Lurkers unburrowed right now in the open. And it's just too much pressure. ByuN is all over him, and this time ByuN will not give up that advantage from the earlier stage. And ByuN does crush through and break his back right there. Lurkers in the main are a problem, but not... Sorry, the Marine drops in the main, the Lurkers in the main, unable to defend that problem, I should say. Roach Ravager counterattack gets cleaned up. Marines take out 2 more Lurkers. Widowmine's taking out Rallying Hydras, and Rogue has to tap. ByuN tying up the series and going to game 3. I want to kind of explain quickly, why is Roach Ravager a bad idea here? Because it gets him stuck on a very low economy. That's the problem, guys. So the thing is, because he's investing in 2 very different tech trees, Ling Speed, lots of queens. And that transitions nicely into Ling Bane Hydra, these sort of things. But if you go roaches, you really don't want Ling Speed. You don't want quite so many queens, because those are very expensive, and so are roaches. You kind of want to be like, oh, no, I only have 5 or 6 queens and no Ling Speed, and I've got roaches. And that's why when you see like Dark go for roaches, he'll often do it that way. Now, keep in mind, the reason Rogue likes this style is it looks exactly like a Ling Bane build, and then if the Terran's just macroing, bam, 40 roaches with 1/1 upgrades come and kill you, and you just die, because you don't even realize you're building Widow Mines instead of siege tanks, which puts you in a much worse position, and you die. But I think Rogue should have known from the fact that there was no Hellions on the map that this was either a 2 barracks or 3 barracks opening. From about 4 minutes, maybe 4:20, you could say, if you haven't seen a single Hellion, if you're poking the ramp, you still don't see a Hellion, like, you know this is a 2 barracks build. So to go Roach Warren here, I don't mind it, but I think you need to make this decision much earlier and defend with roaches instead of Zerglings, because those Zerglings aren't going to scale well, because they don't get upgrades. So it felt like Rogue's response here was unoptimized, if that makes sense. It felt like it would have been good in an entirely different sort of game. And to me, this felt like Rogue wasn't being as flexible as he normally is. Felt like he had a plan before the game started and he didn't react to what ByuN's doing. And it's weird to see Rogue's scouting being so weak, because last week his scouting against Protoss was amazing. All right, we got a series on our hands. ByuN on the bottom right side of the map. Nice efficient opening in that last game, but Rogue's been getting some nice surrounds and stuff, man. Rogue, I think his build orders I would criticize for putting him behind 2 games in a row so far. But if he can just scout a little bit more, some of his engagements have been pretty nice. And his ability to hang on and defend as well as he did in that last one was also pretty slick. Now, Rogue is pulling out a lot of builds that are just absolutely copy-pasted from before he went to the military, which, even though his mechanics look good, it definitely feels like he's just sticking with what he thinks is still, you know, hey, he thinks, hey, that stuff worked. Scarlet said that apparently that build in game 1 with the weird leaving on gas, apparently he did that versus Cure and Katowice on Blackburn years ago before he went to the military. So she's got a good memory there. I did not remember that game, but it kind of goes to show, combined with like the drone scout, I absolutely remember him doing this all the time against Proxy Rax players like ByuN and Maru. This is like Rogue's doing just kind of what he was doing before. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, ByuN's going for what appears to be a 2 barracks play after the command center. Question is, will it be a 2-1-1 again? If it is, he'd need to take that second gas pretty soon. Could just be 2 barracks into 3rd command center. That's pretty rare, though. He's just probably going to go 3rd barracks in a little while. Notice he's got to save the minerals for the orbitals, but 3rd barracks will go down now. Yeah. So reactor, 3rd barracks, and we should see a tech lab. There we go. Beautiful. Now, Rogue's going for 4 Zerglings again. Small adjustment some players started to make when Command Center first got popular, which Rogue hasn't shown, is they would actually not build those Zerglings until they see the Reaper come out. And if they don't see the Reaper come out, they would just build 2 more drones. So that would have been actually a really cool adjustment Rogue could make to make his build much better. Now he's going for a Ling Flood because he knows it's command center first. He's already gone Ling Speed into third base. He's going to Bane Bust. He's going to Bane Bust. He's going all in, and ByuN's going 4-axe. Now 4-axe beats Bane Bust if you know it's coming. Problem, ByuN has no scouting whatsoever. Man, if his stim finishes, though, I think he's fine. Honestly, I think he's fine if stim finishes. It's a 22 drone Ling Bane all in. Even though ByuN is planning a 4-axe, potentially, he might even be planning to pull SCVs of his own. He's definitely going for a quick combat shields. He's not going to build an add-on, just Marine production there. This is a ridiculously sharp Marine timing that hits about 5 minutes that he's aiming for. Problem, he's going to get hit about 4 minutes with a big Bane Bust. And, oh man, if he gets the wall off, it's huge. I don't think he needs another depot just yet. If he starts another depot though, because he's building 4 Marines at a time, I mean, 5, 6 Marines at a time he can even be building, right? Ooh, dude, if he gets another depot and a bunch of Banes get wasted on that, that could be huge. Oh, don't move out, please, ByuN. Don't move out, ByuN. Don't move out. Oh, ByuN's moving out. Okay. Oh no. Oh no, he's moving out at the worst possible time. Oh, he's going to focus down 2 Banelings at least. That's something, but he's got to get back up his ramp. Guys, we got 30 seconds till stim finishes. That's a lot of time. The Marines need to focus the Banelings down. He didn't focus the Banelings. Oh, no. ByuN, the king of micro, just got nervous and did a doo-doo. He got nervous and did a doo-doo. He needed to focus those Banelings down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, he has 4 Marines popping out at a time, but stim kicks in at the worst possible moment. Oh no. A depot goes down as well. Oh no. What can I say, guys? That was unfortunate. ByuN clearly shocked. Did not expect Rogue to just go so all in such a high pressure situation, man. He just didn't expect it. Oh, he can't get the barracks down. He wanted to float the barracks to wall off, but he just can't quite get it. He's got to try and protect the Marines from the Zergans with the SCVs, but he can't let those Banelings connect. He can't let those Banelings connect, man. Great micro for ByuN, honestly. At the end of this, great micro for ByuN, but he's in an impossible position. The numbers are not in his favor. The barracks is walled off now, which is adorable, but he is dead zos, man. Only 5 SCVs. Thing is, imagine if he defends with even like 15 SCVs. There's only 22 drones. Now, to be fair, Rogue has 3 hatcheries, so of course he can macro back up pretty quickly. But you can imagine, like, you can lose some stuff here and still be okay. But ByuN didn't just lose some stuff. ByuN lost all the stuff. ByuN's like, I've got 2 dudes who are literally the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail right now, hopping around on one leg saying, "'Tis but a flesh wound." But it's okay, guys. Now they're up on the ramparts, and they're going to shout, you know, insults. Your mother smells of elderberries. Yeah. ByuN has to tap out. A nice all-in from Rogue. It was a good all-in. Catches out the command center first. To be fair, ByuN had one of the better build orders against it. But moving out with those Marines, ByuN's been caught like that before. He always likes to poke out with his Marines when he does these builds, and I think Rogue was counting on it. That, combined with the miss micro, really put him in the grave. I mean, we can go back and look at it one more time, guys. This was very uncharacteristic of ByuN to not focus any of these Banelings down. This is bizarre. Like, he didn't even click on them. He didn't even try there to click on those Banelings. That's not something you see every day from ByuN. That is very bizarre. GG, well played. Rogue, with a very interesting set of strategies, manages to qualify for GSL. Welcome back, Rogue. All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's a rematch of 2022. Bunny, the man in the top right, who is an absolute beast of Terran, loves his 2 base all-ins, but he's playing against Reynor in the bottom left for Basilisk, and Reynor is out for revenge because these two played in the group stages of GSL Season 3 2022. The last time Reynor went to GSL, there's a lot of people going, "Whoa, Reynor's so hot right now. This is going to be amazing. Reynor's so hot. Oh my god." And Reynor was kind of screwing around with Protoss a lot and doing incredibly well. And he was also kicking ass with Zerg. It was so much hype, so much excitement. Don't know if Reynor believed the hype too much or what, but Reynor did rock up and kind of got rolled over by a few players. Bunny, one of the players, along with, I believe, DRG, who eliminated him, from that, we actually just went here on stream just before casting this, and I went back and looked at the games, and Bunny basically got him with a 3 racks on Waterfall game 1. Game 2, tried to do his famous Bunny 2-base Marine tank push, and Reynor managed to hold on. Game 3, same Marine tank push 2-base, but on Inside Out, that same map where Bunny famously beat Cyril on that map with that push and a bunch of the best Zergs in the world, and he was able to beat Reynor on it. Reynor just could not stop that advance. The Marines and the tanks were endless. And it was a really heartbreaking defeat because I think Reynor kind of was not expecting to be losing in the first group stage. I think he was like already thinking about, okay, how am I going to win the finals or the semis, you know? And to go out in the first round was very sad for him, very unfortunate. So he's back in Korea trying to qualify, trying to redeem himself, also trying to just get back in the groove after a Katowice where he feels he didn't really perform up to his own expectations. So it's going to be interesting to see a rematch between these two. Of course, Bunny made it to the big finals in Atlanta and barely fell short against Hero back in that time period. Since then, though, he's been yet to repeat that level of success. He's been a solid GSL player, a solid tournament player. We have not seen Bunny cracking another top 4 in the big event since then. So Bunny's still definitely someone to be respected. But Reynor, on the other hand, he did win Gamers 8 last year, a $400,000 tournament. You know, he's had a few tournaments where he does come out looking absolutely on point. Home Story Cup, I believe he destroyed... Didn't he beat Cyril like 3-0, 4-0 or something like that in the finals of Home Story Cup last year as well? There was a few tournaments he had amazing runs. Now, this is a double gas build for Bunny. So Bunny is going for... Oh my god, is he doing the exact same build? Guys, this looks exactly like his old 2-base build. I don't think he opened Command Center first, though. But normally he would go for quick Banshee, and then he'd go 3 barracks afterwards. This does look like that build order. Old school, baby. Now, against this, the Banshee's hit so early, and the Hellion pressure is quite stiff as well. So you need to make sure you have enough Queens and Zerglings. If you navigate that just right... Which there are extra Zerglings building right now, which is very well done by Reynor. You deflect this, you're way ahead. We're going to find out in a moment. If there's a 3rd command center goes down, then obviously it's a long-term play. But if Bunny builds 2 more barracks, then he is committed to the 2-base. But she's doing it. 3 barracks, guys. That's what those 2 SCVs are for. He's going to build 3 barracks. So he's going for the 2-base push. Bunny, man. This is Bunny's expertise. It's this 2-base Marine tank push. Now, the question is, where do you push on this map? I think Reynor's probably going to take this 4th down the bottom. I guess you just try to set these tanks up around these ledges. Yeah, if you drop a tank in like there, I think a tank can siege there. Ooh, there's some nasty spots actually on Alcyon. Roachhorn. Ooh, Reynor's playing so safe. I think Reynor is like, yeah, I just need to make sure I don't die. Roach Ravage is the best way to do it. He's already seen it. He's already seen the 2nd and 3rd barracks, guys. And there's a 4th and 5th barracks going down as well. First Banshee entering. No Spore Crawler. Uh-oh, Reynor's messed up. Oh, he canceled Cloak. Oh, he canceled Cloak. Oh, no. Guys, 300 IQ from Reynor, but it was a gamble. Reynor, after scouting up in here... Wait, did he see... Oh, no, he saw it swapped off. He actually did see it swap off. Oh, okay, sorry, guys. My casting's a little bit slow, a little bit behind the ball right now. These players, though, Reynor has scouted everything. Oh, but the 4th hatchery goes down, so he does make a mistake. But yeah, if you skip Spore Crawlers and that Banshee has Cloak, you take massive damage, but it was perfectly done because Reynor's getting Zerglings in. He's seeing everything with Overlords and Lings this game. He basically just knows what's happening before it even starts. Single Evo Chamber. Now, the reason he's going single Evo instead of double is he knows he just needs to hang on and defend. That Banshee is doing good damage. Those Queens do need to deal with it. He's got a few Queens on the right side as well. Queens will push back the Banshee. He's building a few more drones, which may be slightly greedy for Reynor, but it's not 6 minutes yet, so as long as he goes non-stop roaches from here, he might be able to defend this. I mean, you can see right now he's at half the army supply. That army's already arriving. Already, my lord. Bunny wants to clear this creep. That's why he's pushing now, because he wants to clear the creep so that when his +1 and his shields finishes, he's already in a position to take advantage. And Reynor's actually losing a lot of units. Bunny hasn't lost a single unit just yet. Oh gosh, this is actually very scary for Reynor. Even though the Roach tech's a great idea, Roach speed and Carapace is not quite done. Sorry guys, not sure what I just jumped to there on the minimap, but oh man, the Roaches And the Queen's trying to hang on. The tank is doing a lot of damage, though. Oh, this is looking bad for Reynor. This is looking bad for Reynor. The Marines are going to get a few Queens. Pulling back is the correct call. Reynor needs to hang on. He's on 67 workers. He's played so greedy. Reynor has played this so greedy against ByuN. Wow. If he gets away with it, though, his income is crazy. This is the way Reynor likes to defend. A lot of players like to stop and just mass units off 52, 55, at most 60 workers. Reynor goes for a crazy level of greed, loses a third hatchery, loses a ton of stuff, but he has so much economy behind it. If you don't get in there and finish him off right now, dude, his income is soaring. 1,000 more minerals a minute. This is the bizarre thing when you're playing against Reynor, is it's not about just taking a cautious fight, it's about getting in there with urgency as well. If you don't get in there with urgency, he will rip you to shreds. Man, those tank shots just ruined those roaches. Giving up the 4th base is the correct call. And he should be cutting off the rally right now, which you can tell he's trying to send a few roaches around, but I don't know if that's going to work out. Oh, SCVs have been pulled. Big SCV pull for ByuN. ByuN realizes that urgency is #1. It's the name of the game right now. Mass Marine tank, 42 Marines, 1 Marauder, 4 Siege tanks, 21 roaches, 4 Ravagers. Spinecrawler's trying to build behind as he knows he's just got to hang on. He can run his drones away. He's just got to survive. Reynor has to buy time. More Ravagers morphing there on the front line. Remember, they do take 12 seconds to morph these days. Ravagers not quite as accessible as they once were. Lings do intercept the rally. A massive move, cleaning up those Marines as they rally in to their death one at a time. On the bottom right side, more Overlords are going down. Units lost time is 2-1 in favor of ByuN, but ByuN needs better than that. Oh god, he's unsieged! He's unsieged! A massive Roach Ravager flank on the right side of our screen. A tank goes down. The other tanks are in range as well. A second tank is about to fall, as is a third one, but the Marines are going to punish. Reynor's going to lose a lot of units for that. Oh, Roaches coming in from the left as well. The last siege tank goes down as those Roaches come forward. Can he overwhelm? The +1 carapace is absolutely massive. The +1 carapace counteracting the +1 on the Marines is huge. That's why those Roaches and Ravagers were just so survivable. Reynor needs to be careful, takes 2 big tank shots. He's got to be cautious here. He's got a massive worker count, but he's only on 2 base mining. He's going to rebuild a third on the left side of the map. And of course, nothing but Roach Ravagers as well as some Queens being rebuilt. ByuN is an expert at this all-in. I really feel like it's scary when a guy is just this good at this sort of all-in. The dichotomy of StarCraft is it's so obvious that he does this all the time, and it got scouted so early. You'd think just being more surprising as a player is so much better, but for a lot of players, they simply don't have enough breadth to be really good at enough other builds, and instead they focus on just becoming a god at a certain build in a certain matchup, or a certain style in a certain matchup. And that's why I have so much respect for guys like Rogue and Serral, who are so flexible these days and can kind of swap between so many different styles. It's difficult to do that. ByuN, though, he's a master of this area of StarCraft. The 2 base Marine tank push. Unfortunately, in this game, he is so far behind. New Marine tank on the front trying to overwhelm. He just doesn't have the firepower density. Look at that. The Roaches just jump on top. That siege tank goes down. The redrop on the low ground not really finding any significant damage. Reynor's held him off. He's run out of steam at this point. Remember, he pulled his SCVs as well, guys. He's got nothing at home. So it's a little bit of mining, but not much going for him. Reynor's pushing across to the other side of the map. And when he sees no third base, he's going to feel like, oh, this is over, you know? There's no third. I'm in a great spot. Oh, awkward fight for Reynor. I don't think there's any reason for him to fight here necessarily. Yeah, I just traded like 16 Roaches for a siege tank. Definitely awkward. But, you know, getting the siege tank count down, fighting on the other side of the map, does have advantages of its own. Roach Ravager coming up. The Marines there nicely positioned for ByuN, but the numbers do not lie. 88 army supply to 64. Yes, Roach Ravager supply is not great, but you've also got a 35 worker lead. And when you have both a 35 worker lead and a 30 army supply lead, and now an upgrade lead as your +1 range is finished, Reynor finds himself with a lot of room to breathe in this game. Siege tanks will take out that Roach. Few Lings getting mixed in. I was asking the question about, will Rogue, you know, is it worth mixing unupgraded Zerglings in just to absorb tank shots? Seems like Reynor agrees it probably is. It could just be, of course, a byproduct of him not having enough gas and saying, well, any fighting units are better than no fighting units. Roach Ravager comes in. The flank on the right is huge. And from the north, oh me, oh my, the Biles take out the siege tanks. The SCV pool round 2 comes in, but there is just way too much Roach Ravager deep on the creep spread. the Terran meets his end. Bunny has to tap out in game 1. All right. Let's get into it. Game 2. Bunny tried a classic build in that last one. Gonna open up with the 1-Rax expand in game 2. Reynor was ready for it. Now, to be fair, this map's usually pretty good for Terran, but it is going to be interesting to see, you know, what does Bunny try? I don't mind a good A-Rax push against Reynor, especially since Reynor's showing an inclination to really want to be ultra safe against Bunny. Oh, he's going 6 Zerglings, guys. He's pull first, 6 Zergling. This is safe versus Proxy Rax, but it also can really punish Command Center. Actually, Command Center first is kind of good against it, isn't it? Because the Command Center finishes in time. Anyway, it's great against what Bunny's doing, because Bunny is not SCV scouting. He's moving out with a Reaper, which means he's going to have 1 Marine and a bunch of SCVs to defend this. These SCVs are going to go after this. These Zerglings are going to go after this SCV, try to kill it, and delay that Command Center as long as they can. If they kill the Command Center, obviously that's a disaster. That should never happen. But if they can maybe get on top of that Marine or something like that, that could be very, very nice. Uh-oh. Oh, the Marine moved way too far to the low ground. Oh, God. Oh, God. Marine's going to go down, man. Okay, Marine's going to get caught. No SCV's falling just yet. Zergling's pretty good at fighting against SCVs straight up. Oh, God. Oh, God. He kind of fought, but then changed his mind. Oh, no. Bunny! Bunny's already lost 4 SCVs. Guys, if you're going to fight with SCVs, you need to bring overwhelming numbers and actually fight with them. But he kind of started fighting, then realized without the Marine firepower wasn't enough. He just got another one. And another one! Oh, no! Okay. Bunny just punched his ticket to D-Town, guys. That is a disastrous opening. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not free. Reynor's 3rd is late. Like, yeah, he had to build a pool first, but he's got 3 queens, injecting, spreading creep. He's got amazing map control. Bunny is stuck now without even having I think he was planning to do a 3cc build. He can't even do that now. He doesn't have the money, so he's like, I guess I just build a starport and a Marine and a couple Hellions. Oh, so much damage. 6 SCVs for 6 Zerglings. That is huge. Crisps, chips, or fries in American? Oh, chat's having a discussion. Yeah, for us, crisps have to be, you know, the like a bag of potato chips, I guess you'd call that. I'm like, geez. We call fries chips as well. They're all chips, cold chips and hot chips. Not that you'd really call them cold chips. You'd just call them chips, and then you'd call them hot chips for fries. To be fair, what do we call? Good question from an American. What does an Australian call a cold fry? Because we'd say that's cold hot chips. Yeah, that sounds confusing, doesn't it? That does sound confusing. Oh, me hot chips got cold. Alright. Overlord's gonna get shot down there. Sorry, excuse the random discussion around chippies. There is a Roach Warren once again. Link speed run by, getting ready to come in. There are a few Hellions at home. Links could still be an issue. Oh, Bunny's going all in. Bunny's going all in. He's going to go for a Marauder Hellbat. He's hoping Reynor's been a bit too greedy and he can just kill him with a Marauder Hellbat. He's cut SCVs completely. Guys, no SCVs building. Oh, this is a clever build. It just sucks for him that Reynor's going roaches off 39 workers. Reynor is planning his own Ravager Ling aggression. Actually, it's not even aggression. He's building 2 drones. But having roaches out already is like the beginnings of the best defense. Oh, if he gets around, this could be big. Nice Reaper grenade. No, not that nice. It didn't actually stop anything. He's going to get a Hellion, a Reaper, and he can stop that other Hellion. Oh, that Hellion somehow just sliding away, man. It's a greasy, greasy Hellion, that is. More Hellions coming out. And there will be Marauders now as well. 3 Marauders with concussive shells. These Lynx can counterattack and do massive damage. He needs to build more roaches, does Reynor. Reynor does not know this is coming. He finds it! He finds it! He sees the landed Viking! Get out of there, Reynor! He needs more roaches! He's got to hang on! Bunny, desperately all in right now, looking for the comeback after a terrible start. Reynor can afford to run away and buy time. Zerglings do run in. Hellbats will morph on the ramp, and they should be able to defend. The Zerglings will take out some SCVs, but look at this. Here comes the Hellbat Marauder. Transfuses coming down. Roaches and Queens trying to hang on. I like that movement. You see how the Zerglings flank and spread out so they're not taking big Hellbat splash? The Roaches and Queens are starting to fall, but the Hellbats are completely gone. And Reynor with a pool first 6 Zergling opening. He just walks straight through that qualifier and gets in easily to GSL. A very good start to the season for Reynor. All All right. We got ourselves another GSL qualifying match. ByuN down here in the bottom left with another chance to qualify. It is, of course, Nightmare on the other side of the map. And honestly, Nightmare is just a monster lately. I'm telling you guys, every tournament bracket I look at, he's left like a bunch of top Terran players behind him. ByuN, he's been beating. Clem. I mean, he's not necessarily winning all these online tournaments, but he's always taking out a bunch of the top guys. I remember a few years ago when he took out a bunch of the top Protoss guys as well. So it feels like Nightmare's, I think at any one point in time, Nightmare is a god of one matchup, maybe really good in another. And he has a third matchup that sometimes lets him down. I don't know if that's PvP right now for Nightmare or PvZ, but I do feel like his PvT is fearsome. So definitely someone for ByuN to watch out for, even though ByuN is, of course, the incumbent favorite. Someone who's in pretty much every season of GSL and usually has some pretty deep runs mixed in there. I mean, not like top 4s, but I think he's made a few top 8s, right? I'd need to go check his whole career. Definitely that run in 2022 did pretty good and made it all the way to, of course, Atlanta Grand Finals. Pylon is blocking that Reaper jumping path on the left side. Adept's coming out, and it's Adept Stargate. Good to see Nightmare mixing it up. He does love his blink openings, but I do think Stargate's got quite popular here on Alcyon. Factory going down into a second gas and a bunker. ByuN playing pretty safe. I mean, he skipped SCV Scout completely, so it's usually a good idea to have a bit of caution in your play when you do open up like this. And seeing that Adept Shade, he will evacuate the tower, and Nightmare says, "This is mine." Oh, got a second gateway on the front as well. Reaper's going to rotate around. Now, I actually have no idea if it's Oracle or Phoenix. We'll find out in a moment. I have no idea. Not even going to try to predict it. Phoenix does start up there. So, probably a traditional Phoenix Colossus build. Keep your eyes out for a quick... Oh, hello! Hello. Very nice. Gets himself the Reaper. If he can get a quick third and fourth gas, obviously that's kind of the traditional way of doing it. But because he's got the early second gate, I do feel like maybe we might see from Nightmare, and he's not chronoing probes either. Is he going to chrono Phoenix? I think he's kind of saving his chrono right now. Third gateway, what? Okay, so Nightmare's expecting ByuN to play highly aggressive. And honestly, it's ByuN. ByuN basically headbutts every game. He's a big attacker. That's the one thing. ByuN is a master of aggression. His big weakness has always been that it's a little predictable. Now, in ByuN's favor, he's not building 2 Cyclones. It's just 1 defensive Cyclone, straight into 3 barracks. So even though he's not going third command center, he's just going to go quick stim and shields, I believe. Like, I think he builds 1 tank, 1 Raven, and then he swaps these barracks over. And he knows it's Phoenix, actually, so why even bother? Why not just swap straight away? Smart. This is the counter to a Phoenix opening. You don't need much anti-air. Phoenix are a very low-impact unit. They're very good at shutting down Ravens and drops. But if you just go straight into stim shields +1, how is Nightmare going to deal with that? Guys, is he going Phoenix Charge? Oh, he's doing Phoenix Charge! Hello! I've been saying that this style should make a return this patch. It's obvious that with Widow Mines being nerfed, Widow Mines were the hard counter to this style. They were the big problem, because you don't have any detection with Phoenix and Zealots. But Phoenix Zealot has always been a great composition in this matchup. It's just, it has a very big falling off point. Now, this is the hardest position for it to be played, because Phoenix do best if they open Widow Mine drop. They open with a Raven. You know, all these things that Phoenix excel against. Once he gets a big massive stim Marines with shields and +1, Phoenix aren't really useful in that engagement. You can maybe disable a few Widow Mines or something, but that's about it. Gets himself an SCV, that's something. 5 more gateways building. It's 2 gas, 8 gate Zealot. This is almost an all-in. He's going to stop at like 52 probes, Nightmare is, and just go for a massive Zealot. And if ByuN pushes into that, he's dead. And ByuN's played very blind so far. Gets himself a Phoenix, though. Very good catch for ByuN. Yeah, so what I'm saying here is, if you can rely on your opponent just shoving into you with his first stim and Medivacs and just kill it with like 15 Zealots and 5 Phoenix, it's almost game over in your advantage, right? But if ByuN realizes what's happening by scanning or scouting, he could do okay. Oh, nice. Oh, I would have liked him to pick up that Widow Mine. But forcing that unload is already a good start here for Nightmare. He's got to be careful, though. You did not want those Phoenix to get caught. Adept shading forward. Probably... Ooh, nice. Nice APM. Nice attention to detail. Does cancel it. He needs one more big Zealot Warp in. If he can flank this army, like I said, pick up the Widow Mines with the Phoenix, Zealots get on top, and this is a big overextension for Bunny, potentially. Nightmare does not have an economy advantage. Nightmare's economy is so low. Nightmare is literally just looking to hard counter this push. Bunny has no information in this game whatsoever. Zero scouting. But as long as he delays the fight, if Bunny goes home right now, he's way ahead. Nightmare is doing a defensive all-in. He has to kill this army. His transition from here will be very weak. Nightmare, he's a bit supply blocked as he builds 4 pylons. He needs another Zealot Warp in. You know, Bunny's really wanting to push. 4th and 5th barracks going down behind this. Here comes the army. He sees a lot of Zealots, and it's go time. It's go time. Phoenix do come in from the back. They pick up one of these Widow Mines. That Widow Mine in the reverse doesn't do that much. Oh, this Widow Mine does get a shot. Takes out a Phoenix, but dude, the Zealots are getting decent surface area, but not as much as he would have liked. Bunny's micro's been pretty good, and I feel like for a defensive all-in that needed to crush this army, it's not good enough. And Bunny, scouting the Phoenix, reacts, and just goes straight into stim, doesn't spend any money. And we see that Phoenix is very good when you hide it. But when you build your Stargate there and just get it scouted immediately, it loses a lot of its power because they, even when you're trying to hard counter their strategy with mass Zealots and no economy, you end up in a very weak position. He's going to try to transition to Blink. I mean, that's a rough transition, dude. If Nightmare can get out of this position with Blink Colossus, I will be very impressed. But he needs Blink because he's lost all of his Phoenix. He doesn't want to rebuild them at this point. They're not good against the Mass Marine. Zealots are going to get, oh, a big hit there from that Widow Mine. Definitely wants to finish that Widow Mine off, but isn't able to. Yeah, this is looking so good for Bunny. I mean, Bunny scouted. He reacted well. And even though he didn't scout much after that, just the scout on the Phoenix with the Reaper was all he needed. And I like that he was kind of cautious with his army. If he shoved in and got surrounded by the first 16 Zealots, could have been a different game. But I think we can also criticize maybe the fact that Nightmare didn't flank with quite as many Zealots or counterattack with as many Zealots as he could have. I think you kind of need to either get big surrounds or hit the counterattack and kill a lot of SCVs, one or the other. You don't do either of those, you're in a spot of bother. And Nightmare, we can also criticize the fact that he went 8 gates, but they're all at home. If you don't have a robo, you should always be proxying a gateway on your opponent's side of the map. And I think failing to do that did cost him any sort of counterattack opportunity. When he saw Bunny was taking a lot of time to commit, definitely should have done that. Oh, this pylon. Artosis, no! Oh, Artie! Whoa. Well, I knew Artosis and Tasteless Pylon do go down to repower, but I like this. Bunny doesn't need to fight right now, but he's just miles ahead, so he's like, yeah, I'll just take my time. Pick off the pylon from the low ground, pick off a gateway, get another gateway slowly. What can you even do about this? I mean, Nightmare's trying to get to Colossus, and he's actually doing it in an impressive fashion. Oh, the Colossus can't even save that gateway. The Marauders are like, nope, we're going to finish that. Down to 6 gateways for you, buddy. Oh, the Widow Mine blocks his 4th as well. Nightmare's got to be a little triggered. +2 attackers started. We've also got Ghosts on the way. This armory is a bit of an odd choice. Single Engineering Bay armory is pretty rare. I actually like it. But, I wonder if it's an old habit, because a lot of people used to build armory at this point just to make the Widow Mines permanently invisible, but that's not how it works anymore. You can see once it fires, it reveals itself until it's recharged. Nexus and a pylon go down on the left side. Zealot Colossus coming over here. You don't want to move into the open too much, though, because the EMP Marauder can just smash through. He's going to go for a big Zealot Stalker counterattack. Widow Mines will see it coming, though, and he will rotate his army in order to answer that. Nightmare doing a good job of trying to save that last Zealot, but yet another Widow Mine hit does go off. He's got 2 Colossus out, 3rd one building. Viking count's only slowly building. There's only 4 out so far. Bunny's doing a really good job, though. If he can just deny this 4th base, he's got his own 4th almost finished. The Ghost count is building. 29 Marauders, 16 Marauders, 29 Marines, and 7 Ghosts. EMPs on every single Zealot. The Vikings do get left up front, but man, those Zealots are getting destroyed by the Bio. Marines do run into the Colossus beams, but look at the supply, dude. I don't normally like to cast off the supply. I like to cast off the screen, but the soup does not lie, and that is just way too much Terran off this early game. It's a cute opening for Nightmare, but it does rely partially on information denial and surprise, and he just wasn't able to get that off in this one. Bunny crushes through game 1. All right. Game 2, Bunny in the top left. Once again, no scout. And Nightmare, on the other hand, did actually go across with a probe. Got that Cybercore wall off. Now, the great thing about this wall off is I believe you can build that Stargate down here without them seeing what it is. So if we do want to go Stargate, we could do it. However, I would imagine Nightmare's probably going to play Twilight because that is his comfort zone. Notice how Warp Gate has not been cancelled, and he's just kind of not really prioritizing the gas very much. Actually, only 2 workers on this gas. I think that's a slight mistake, personally. I do think he's like, hey, why don't I have gas for Twilight right now? What's going on? Might not realize, though, because it's a pretty slight amount of gas you lose from this. But it does add up over time and will make things a little awkward. Now, Bunny's going factory. 2 Marines into reactor. Factory and second gas as well. Reaper's just checking for proxies right now.
SCV ready.
This is a pretty chill opening by Bunny. I'm looking at this and I'm really thinking deeply about like what he's got his eye on, because that's 3 gate before Robo. Nightmare's going to skip Robo. I like this opening. I think mixing this in is a good idea. He's also escorting a probe across the map. So he is thinking about just getting a forward gate to potentially do, or at least pylon, just to warp in on their front, which is never a bad idea. The Adept does go home along with that Stalker. Reaper has not seen the Twilight Council. Robo is now on the way. Widow Mine drop. Okay, so why is this probe here, guys? Because he doesn't know if it's 3 racks or not. And he needs to see them move out so he has time to prepare and move his Stalkers forward to intercept. But a Marine comes out, we'll push that probe away. So he's probably going to try to loop around here and come back to scout the middle. Okay, for now, he does pull back to the north. The Marine spots him. Not very successful there for Nightmare. You can see, so this is having his information heavily denied. Reaper on the left side. Adept's going to go out and chase him away. Of course, we know the 2nd and 3rd barracks is only now building. Tech labs on the starport and the factory. Medevac mine drop coming forwards. Oh, little sloppy. Bunny just leaves his Reaper sitting there, gets it killed. This probe coming forwards. The Medevac's trying to dodge the Adept from scouting it. Is he just going to go all the way home? Wow. Bunny being so conservative this game, guys. Alien's gonna find a probe. Alright, so he gets that probe finally. Stalker's moving out. Nightmare is on 4 gas on 2 base. So we're gonna see a Robo Bay any moment now and a 3rd base. Probe moves out, 3rd base does go up. And that Robo Bay will go down momentarily. Oh no, he's gonna go Storm Drop. I like it. I like it. Okay, Templar Archives instead of Robo Bay. Good choice. Adept Shades in. And looks like it will finish. Take out an SCV or 2. I like this move by Nightmare. Especially if he shades the Adept out. That would be excellent. But not microing it to the left, which means those Marines will be able to finish it off. Stalker on the other side does push back the Hellion. Charges on the way. Widow Mine Drop finally comes in. It was heavily delayed, but better late than never. And does take out a couple of probes. Nothing crazy there. A couple of probes in mining time, not really worth losing that medevac. We also see a scan there to take out the Observer on the Terran side of the map. Bunny is playing very standard, just 3 barracks, medevacs, mines. This is the sort of old school standard, just in-your-face style from the last patch, which I feel a lot of Terrans went away from in Season 1 of GSL, and I was kind of at a loss as to why. I really felt like, hey man, 3 racks pressure after your initial mine drop or whatever is still so excellent. And if he could sneak this in, maybe snipe this 3rd base down, that could be really powerful. High Templar gathering energy. There's only 2 of them so far. Definitely want to see a 3rd one with that next 150 gas. There we go. Nightmare warps it in. He's going up to 8 gateways as well. Observer comes in, sees no 3rd command center, none even on the way. And Nightmare has to realize this is a very committed Terran player right now. Ooh, lots of Marines getting picked off. Great trade there for Nightmare. But the double drop comes in behind the 3rd base. Already a few probes going down. Now, the Prism's building, but it's not ready just yet. And that is annoying. Means the High Templar are going to have to defend on their own. That being said, the Marine Marauder in the middle of the map does get completely ripped apart by the Blink Stalkers. Losing the third base sucks for Nightmare, but you can see in the units lost tab, he's traded okay. Like, he still is going to have a very powerful army. There's no third command center. Bunny is just playing so aggressive. He had an SCV out here. He was thinking about a third command center, but he changes his mind. Goes for 4th and 5th barracks, and only now builds a third command center on the high ground. Gets rid of one of these Widow Mines. Nightmare blinking away. Oh, Marines are looking to flank him, but they're on their own. Bit of a crazy move by Bunny here. Bunny's showing his aggressive nature, and he's not doing it in the cleanest fashion. A few more Marines do get picked off. Units lost tab once again, still showing positive trades for Nightmare. Now, don't get me wrong, Nightmare's in a terrible spot economically, but tech-wise, I mean, he's going to tick over into double storms on these High Templar in the next 30 seconds or so. So if he's going to have 8 Psi Storms available and a Prism to drop, if he can get a decent Zealot Stalker count to support 1 or 2 good Storms on this army, could spell disaster for the Terran. I'm going to Bunny's vision because Bunny hasn't seen the Storm. I don't think so anyway. If he has... Oh, there we go. Good scan. Sees the High Templar. He has to pre-spread. If he can pre-spread his units out, get his Widow Mines burrowed, Storm's not that effective because it doesn't have the sustained damage output of, say, Colossi. His army's very clumped right now, though. Oh, there we go. Nice spready on the mines, the Marines. Got to dodge the Storms. Great dodges, but there's a lot of Psi Storms coming in. The Prism does go down. The High Templar getting pushed back. Bunny is large and in charge right now, running on forwards. Nightmare desperately trying to hang on. He's got one more High Templar on the right. He needs a good Storm. It's an okay Storm, but it's not massive. The Widow Mines luckily are revealed here. Zealot's going to take that one for the team. Stalker's able to clean it up. The Stalker Zealot on the warpath trying to hunt this army down. There's still a few High Templar in the back. One of them does have a Psi Storm. That was a High Templar that was stationed in the main base, ready to defend. Drops. Bunny has a third base floating out. He's got 57 workers against 48. Nightmare is looking kind of screwed right now. He's got to clean this army up and do it in a really good fashion. Bunny actually loses all of his Widow Mines before he burrows them. One of the Medivacs went down as well. The Widow Mine does get blinked to dodge. Nice play by Nightmare here, and Bunny should probably be backing away. Maybe overcommitting to the aggression right now, not realizing there's no workers on this new third base. Nightmare actually needs a good fight right now. Desperately needs it. Another Storm goes down, but not really getting what he needs. Widow Mine getting picked off is big, but the Observer goes down, and that means those Widow Mines will be harder to deal with. That Storm mostly landing on Medivacs. Feedbacks go down as well. Archons do start to morph. There's a Stalker chasing this army down. Has Bunny overcommitted right now? Maybe a little bit. He's still way up in supply, but we can see that number closing. If he can get rid of these Stalkers, it's all worth it. If he gets rid of all the Stalkers, it's all worth it. Nightmare blinking a lot of his Stalkers back to the battery. One Archon goes down, though. Bunny still playing crazy aggressive right now. He should be trying to save some of these Marauders. Widow Mine does take out a few of the Zealots, but the Widow Mines go down in return. Bunny is still miles ahead. Those last trades were definitely an overextension. You could see the trading still slightly in favor of Nightmare, but this 4-probe third base is the problem. Nightmare needs to transfer workers out of his main, as half the mineral patches have been gone there for the last minute. He was too busy microing to correct that till now. He really wants a Warp Prism, but it looks like he didn't have the money when he first chronoed that Robo. +1 attack is on the way, and it's a long road to recovery for a 50-probe Nightmare. On the other hand, concussive armory, 5 racks pumping. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Bunny just has complete control over this game. He did lose a lot of Medivacs, I guess 7 Medivacs and a lot of mines going down. I feel like if he preserved his units, he could literally drop the main and attack the third at the same time, and there's just no way Nightmare could cover all of that. That being said, good usage of High Templar so far. Widow Mine cleans up his Zealot. Observer does see most things. There is a missile turret building though, so hopefully Nightmare realizes and repositions that Observer out to the left. Uh-oh. Big army coming through. There is a High Templar waiting though. Try to stim up that ramp. That High Templar will ruin your day. The first 3 ghosts have just built. As these ghosts come out, that is such a problem. A few Vikings as well to deal with the Prism. And suddenly High Templar is not the splash damage you need at this stage of the game. Ooh, High Templar zoning Storm doesn't really do much. Good trade for Bunny. Bunny's got his 4th command center up as well. Wow, he's all over this game. Now, he did go for the armory, but still single eBay just like last one. And he has forgot to make +2 attack this time around, or maybe he was a bit low on the gas. High Templar, Prism drop. Oh, if he can storm this, if he can storm onto the corner. Oh, no, the Prism stopped chasing. I feel like if he dropped there and stormed on the front guys, he could have got a big hit, but probably the good choice since we do see Ghosts and Bio coming back in this direction. Zealot counterattack trying to come in. Nightmare is on 49 probes still. He hasn't had any chance to build workers. I think he just got a drop down here, guys. A medevac just went down. We saw a red dot disappear. I think the stalkers may have just killed something. Unit source tab is still 500 resources in favor of Nightmare, but his income is terrible in comparison. Down 15 workers and mules, not to mention this 4th base starting to mine. We're going to watch that income soar for Terran over the next minute as he gets to about 3,000 minerals a minute against the 2,000 of Protoss. Widowmine does take out his Zealot. Good spready from Nightmare at the last second. He's going to come in and at least cause a bit of havoc, but he just has no longevity on this force. EMP on the Prism and a few of those Stalkers as well. The Zealots have already had all their shields removed. Bunny is large and in charge. Nightmare hanging on just barely right now, trying to buy himself time, but his Zealots bleed out. He doesn't really get much value for it. A zoning Storm to cover his retreat is a good choice. He does end up saving an Archon and a few High Templar. Oh my god, the Prism! The Prism! Okay, the Vikings are having to turn around to avoid the Stalkers. We've got a second Robo Bay and Colossus all coming right now. You're down 30 army supply. If you recover in this game, it'd be crazy. Nice feedbacks! Very nice feedbacks, but the second High Templar does get EMP'd. He's still got 8 High Templar in reserve, though. High Templar could potentially buy him time here. We'll see how he does. EMPs come down, the Prism does fall. Another EMP lands, but a full high energy High Templar rotates to the front. Big storms! Big storms! Big juicies all over Bunny's army. Very nice. Colossus is out as well, and it looks like Nightmare can survive for now. Bunny has to pull back to heal. He's got his +2 weapons on the way, 5th command center building. I do feel like Bunny could split his army up for great effect, but he's a bit afraid of not watching when the storm lands. Master Zealot Colossus coming forward. The Bio's just going to stand and trade. Oh, he's a little bit too close to the storm. Whoa, storm's blanketing. Nice storms for Nightmare. But does he have the meat and potatoes to back up those spells? He's trying to bring more High Templar to the front. A full energy High Templar has arrived on that bottom left side of the force. Somehow still ahead in the units lost as Nightmare. He's got a 4th base up the bottom on 52 probes. Desperate, man. This is a desperate Protoss basically just trying to survive. Even Cloak for those Ghosts is coming in now. But the Colossus count's growing. There's only 2 Vikings. Second Engineering Bay is a little slow. No second Starport just yet. Bunny definitely could go for a second Starport. There we go. Second Starport is building in behind the Naturals, who wants to be able to build more Vikings and potentially libs down the track. +2 armor does start. Good storms. Great setup here for Nightmare. Bunny's got to be cautious. There's a lot of splash damage in this army. And he's low on EMPs. There's another High Templar there that he hasn't EMP'd yet. It's getting close. That High Templar. Oh, the Ghosts. Okay, nice EMP, but actually doesn't quite get that High Templar. Ghost getting picked off. Dude, Bunny's getting pushed back. His army supply is actually lower right now. He's been ahead for a long time. But the High Templar have just bought him so much time and value that now Nightmare has a big ball of Zealot Archon. 1 EMP could ruin these High Templar. 1 EMP in the middle would ruin him. You can tell Bunny's looking for it, man. That Ghost wants to go down there, but he doesn't want to throw these Ghosts away. He needs it. He does need it. The double feedback. Double feedback. He's going to get another feedback. Kills a Ghost there on the left side. Nightmare's High Templar micro. This is the exact same thing we saw him beat Clem with the other week. His High Templar micro is second to none. Oh me, oh my. Dude. This is crazy right now. The army moving up the ramp. Ooh, okay, Storm does go down. Nice EMP there. Colossus falling in and out, falling back and forwards right now. Zealots on the right side find the SCVs. Bunny's in huge trouble. Bunny needs something right now to deal with this. A few more Vikings would be good, but he also needs perfect EMPs. The High Templar are spread out. People always say, Storm sucks, they just EMP it. Nightmare, showing a 300 IQ move that no Protoss player on the ladder has ever thought of before, spreading out his High Templar and microing them. And we are seeing the results here. Well, that fight got really bad. Oh no. Disruptor saved the day, maybe? Dude, Nightmare has a bottom left base, but he just lost all of his important units. He pushed too deep there. That was an exceptional fight for Bunny. Nightmare has done very well with his High Templar, but this is now just turning into a weird scrap fest. 2-2's about to finish. Bunny's still got the 4th and the 5th base up, but he lost a few. Did he lose command centers? No command centers, just 38 SCVs. Bunny still has a chance to recover and play the macro game. Nightmare is stuck in a low economy, and he doesn't have that much going for him. 4 High Templar, a few Disruptors, 1 Colossus. His upgrades aren't getting any better, but he's decided now's the time to macro. The bottom left secret base, 4 probes being built at a time. If anything's going to get you back into this game, that might be it. I do think he should probably take gases, though, because the main's mined out, and the natural's going to mine out in the near future as well. So he's on his last little bit of gas income right now. Nightmare, if he doesn't prepare, is going to be in trouble. Big bio push coming. Oh, Bunny just walks into storms. What did I just witness? What did I just witness? What did I just witness right there? My golly gosh. He's been playing against Storm all game long. There's an observer following him. And this is the problem. He scans and he goes, that's your army. And I've told you guys before, Terran does this. They storm your army and they tunnel vision on the front. High Templar could come from the right or the left. And obviously we see, he goes, I'll just go to the left because he's not in position to defend. And we look at this from Bunny's vision, guys. Comes down there, looks away. Macro. Okay, I'll glance back at my army. Oh, where'd my army go? Oh, no. GG's. All right. What's up, guys? We got Bunny in the bottom right side of the map, Nightmare in the top left. Fantastic comeback for Nightmare. And honestly, that was just great comeback. Good High Templar usage, lots of spreading out. A mixture of Storm, but also feedback when it was the right time to do it. Spreading his High Templar out, buying lots of time, and really just slowly working his way back into that game. I was very impressed. Unfortunately, even though he's scouting early, though, he's getting double proxied. Right next to his... Is this... What? What is this? Is this double Reaper? Is he going to go double Reaper proxy? Or is this just 2-Rax Marine with a gas follow-up? I don't know, guys. I don't know what this build is. I can't wait to see what happens, though. Game 1 and Game 2, though, Nightmare kind of just was on less economy. The problem is he's kind of over-committing to a really scary army off 45 to 50 probes. And then Bunny isn't giving him the fight he needs. He kind of needs to crush Bunny's army. And Bunny's just playing cautious with his first push, and it kind of hard counters Nightmare's style. But now here in this game, this is going to be way more aggressive. Now, guys, he's seen only one gas. If you see one gas, you know it's proxy 2-Rax. You know it's a super committed build, so you just need to, like, super hard counter what's coming your way. Like, you know, just 100%. Second pylon's a little slow, but he should be able to still chrono out some Stalkers. Now, most people would go Robo here. That's what I would go for. I know a lot of pros go Stargate, but Robo, I think, is, like, so amazing because, you know, it gives you scouting, but also the Immortals just wreck Marauders. He doesn't know that it's Marauders, but normally if you're thinking about 2-Rax off 1 gas, I mean, it's usually Marauders. What else would it be? Unless he's hidden a command center somewhere that you don't know about. Nightmare's about to find it. He finds it, and he does see the first Marauders there. Now, one of the Marauders isn't building. There we go. Depot does finish. Third Marauder starts up. He's going to go for an extra gateway. Interesting. Okay, I feel like that gateway's a little late, but it's okay. He's saving his energy for battery overcharge, and with the Zealot on the ramp, that can actually do pretty good versus Marauders, because they need to run up the ramp, basically into hand-to-hand with the Zealot to do anything. And a Robo comes down. Perfect. Yeah, this is a good response. Second battery as well. Now, he's going to get contained. That's the one thing that really hurts, though. Oh, got to be careful, mate. Got to be careful. Now, the Marauders don't have healing, so... That battery healing is very nice. Oh, if you can get the SCV. Oh, the bunker finishes. Get those Stalkers out of there. Get those Stalkers out of there. You're going to lose the Zealot no matter what. Oh, if you got rid of both SCVs as well, maybe it couldn't be repaired. Now, as it is, an Immortal can't be healed while shooting that bunker. It can heal to about here, just out of range. But you can definitely run out with Immortals and do some stuff. Oh, God, losing the Zealot was big. He needs a battery overcharge. Battery overcharge is a little slow. The Marauders are blasting through it. Oh, are they, though? Losing one of the Marauders is huge. Battery overcharge. Nightmare with a mixture of pulling back and focus firing. Kept that Stalker alive. Now, as overcharge runs out, he may still lose the Stalker, but at what cost, dude? Nah, he's not even going to lose it. Bunny has to tap out, and Nightmare. I did not realize. I've not watched these games. I thought we were going to see a macro game. What the hell, Nightmare? Oh, no, that's tragic for Bunny, guys. Bunny should have had a 2-0. And then he goes for the all-in and he tries to shove up the ramp. He could have just contained him and expanded and played a macro game. It's an awkward macro game for sure, but oh, that's unfortunate for Bunny. And hats off to Nightmare. Nightmare getting into GSL this way. I mean, talk about the clutching it from the brink of defeat. Very well played by Nightmare. I am super impressed. GG, well played, mate. All right. We got ourselves another GSL qualifying match. Vitality's Reynor in the bottom left side, up against soO in the top right. And soO is a monster. soO has some of the best fundamentals in StarCraft. If you guys want a Zerg play to show you how important it is to build drones, to inject at the perfect time on the second every single time, and then to just grab your units and A-move them up a ramp, This man will show you how to beat the best players in the world while playing like an utter savage. Spellcaster doesn't know what they are. Nah, to be fair, I'm joking. soO actually builds quite a few spellcasters. Well, not quite a few. He'll build like 2 Vipers or 2 Infestors in certain situations. But if they die, which they usually will, he probably won't rebuild them. He's very much a lair tech guy. He likes to just have a good opening, defend a little bit greedily, and then just kill you with a ton of roaches, lings, or banes. And ain't nothing wrong with that style. It lacks elegance, but every now and then when you're watching people, you know, play StarCraft like it's a really fancy painting, like, you've got to have all these different brushstrokes and stuff. Sometimes it's nice to have a guy just come in and show you that StarCraft can also be likened to, like, I don't know, plumbing. He's like, nah, you just... Here's my wrench, and I turn on the pipe, and then I attach this thing to this, and I get the poo clog out of the pipes, and bam, there we go. Drain is clear, you know? Sometimes, like it doesn't look as pretty to watch, but boy, is it effective. soO is so good at just winning games, whilst making it look like he's not doing anything particularly fancy. His engagements, very rarely is there a beautiful surround, but there is always an extreme level of decisiveness. And that's what I have to give soO absolute props for beyond just about any other player, is this man will commit into an engagement if he thinks he can win with zero fear. Sometimes players, a lack of confidence really hurts them, and that's never hurt soO until he gets to the grand finals of a big tournament that he cares about, when he does tend to crumble a little psychologically. Obviously, the one time where he did manage to overcome that was Katowice against Stats, where someone was reminding me the other day, apparently, like, Stats kind of did 2 base and 2.5 base timings against soO, and soO would just mass roach Hydra on 55 drones every game, which is kind of a hard counter to that. So, you know, there's arguments that, like, we've never really saw soO win a big championship when the odds were stacked against him, right? There was a lot of getting to the finish line, looking unstoppable, and then unfortunately not being able to win. But this is a good way to do it. He's going to go straight roach, no ling speed. Wait, is he doing a 12 roach pressure? Oh my gosh. Look at the amount of money he has saved up. This is a massive roach ravager pressure, guys. 7 roaches and a queen. Oh, that ling just ran in and killed it. SCV. Ryung's got to be tilted. Anyways, I'm talking about him too much. Let's talk about Ryung. Ryung's playing a 3cc into 8 racks build, guys. He's going 3 command centers, 3 barracks, now double engineering bay. Now, this can deal with roaches, but if he doesn't have a bunker, he's not going to have stim, at least when they first arrive. It could be a little awkward. Wait, guys. Is soO's taking a long time to move out with these roaches? I don't know. It feels like this is so late. This is going to hit after 5 minutes because he's trying to hide it from Hellion Reaper right now. But Ryung sees it. Oh, Ryung sees it coming. Instantly drops the bunker. Cancel that depot, I think, and build more depots in the main. Yep. See that? He cancels the depot, builds an extra depot in the main where it's safe. Oh, perfect response. Now, to be fair, the bunker's not quite ready, and fighting in the open ground is a little scary before your stim and 1-1 are finished. Pull back, Ryung. Ryung cannot fight just yet. He's got to wait for SCVs or the bunker, one or the other. Okay, the SCVs are here. The Marines are fighting. The SCVs do get in there, and he's going to pull back and get in the bunker now. Hey, a few SCVs getting killed, though. Nicely done by soO. He gets 5 SCVs, 3 Marines, doesn't lose any roaches. And you know what? He was always planning to drone behind this. It's a simple opening, but it gets the damage done. Double Evos on the way. Extra gases. And this is all the information you need to know as Ryung, that you need to build an armory. Start your 2-2 as soon as that 1-1's finished. Get your 5 barracks up, and you're going to be in a good spot. I say you're going to be in a good spot. You know what's funny? soO's the kind of guy who's so perfect on his injects and his droning, like I said earlier. He can commit to 8 roaches that early off just 32 drones. Still have 60 drones by 5.5 minutes. He's going to have a 4th base up pretty fast. 1-1 started at 540. He's about to hit 66 workers on 6 gas before the 6-minute mark. That is a 20 worker advantage. I don't know, man. I feel like Ryung's opening with a fast 3rd command center, only losing a few SCVs, should put him in a good spot. And yet I look at the numbers and I go, you know, it is roach supply. Roaches do inflate supply. I think it should end up being a very close game from here. Like, in terms of, I don't think either side has a massive lead. Ryung does need to be a little careful, though. He's got stim and 1-1. Combat shields about to finish. Armory is a little bit slow, but that's okay. Probably more important for him to get the 5 racks than anything else. Scans, moves forward, starts clearing some creep. Does he go for the Overlord? Nope. Oh, he's going to fight the roaches, Ryung. Oh, not a good move. Get out of there, get out of there. I mean, he gets 3 roaches, but it costs him like 7 more marines. So as long as he saves the rest, it's not too bad. Roaches do cost twice as much as a marine, but you want to be trading quite efficiently. And remember, the smaller the fights, the better it is for Zerg, whereas the bigger the fights, the better for Terran. The reason? Terran have 13 range siege tanks and 5 and 6 range marauders and marines. So as they get more damage out as well, the glass cannon nature of Terran, fragile units, less hit points, but more damage, more range, more firepower, that's when that becomes really effective. So you don't want to be trading small armies. You just want to be surviving. We don't want this tank in the open. Oh god, Ryung. Ryung, you're about to get killed, man. Oh, no, the tanks need to be back here. He can't defend this third yet. But soO is using the fact that everyone tunnel visions on the watchtower so well. Breaking the rocks on the left, massing Roach Ravager. 1-1's about to finish. I told you, man, sometimes he looks workmanship-like. This is actually beautiful. I gotta give soO props. This is a well-hidden, beautifully timed attack. 1-1 is done, and that tank is in the open. Biles are landing on it. He doesn't focus fire it just yet. Okay, finally does go down to the corrosive bile. There is more biles landing on that tank on that left side. He moves those 2 Ravagers forward. They get in range. That tank goes down. And that is going to be that. Ryung was gearing up for the long game with the 4th command center. But against soO, you have to survive the mid game. That is always the task. soO's late game is lacking, but his mid game is excellent. Rushing a 4th command center is not something you can get away with. soO's going to take a really clean game 1. Beautiful play by soO. All right, guys, a bit of a rough game 1 there for Ryung. It's always hard. You want to get out there, get some information. But when you know you're playing against soO's Roach Ravager, you leave your tanks in the back, man, and you try to just focus on surviving. If it was this game map, you leave your tanks here, and you try to build some buildings here. And probably not buildings on the low ground, but maybe just a few buildings on the top there. And it just makes it really hard. Even if it's just a few depots that are spread out, it doesn't even need to be a full wall. You can defend this area really well, but you need all your marines, all your tanks at home, and you potentially need to pull SCVs as well. Because the sort of attack soO was doing, even though he had an early 4th and it looked like he was set up for the macro game, you got to remember that while soO can transition into Lingbane off Roach Ravager, he's the most immediate thing is always just, can I hold his attack right here, right now? And combined moving all his marines out and moving his tank in the open and also building a very fast 4th command center, it was just a bit too much greed for Ryung, and he does get punished. Now, I think Ryung absolutely can beat soO in the late game. soO's late game, as I said, it's just not good. It never has been. And, you know, it's not his strength. He doesn't focus on it. I mean, if you always win in the mid game or lose there, why would you need to be good in the late game, right? But there have been famous games where obviously soO gasses out and just doesn't have a follow-up. A lot of the time what he'll do if you get to like 5 base versus 5 base is he'll pick a Terran base, say this 4th, and he'll just attack into it. Then he'll remax and attack into it, and he'll do that 23 times in a row. And it either works or it doesn't work. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He doesn't try to use his mobility necessarily to attack 3 different places. He's not going to Nidus the back and attack the front and do a Bane drop somewhere else at the same time. Very rarely. soO is all about understanding, hey, I just built a ton of units. Like, this is the way Zerg production works, right? I built economy. Now I've built an immense amount of units. Now I want to smash those units into you before, you know, you build better units. Because Terran and Protoss tend to have better units. They just take a lot longer to build. They need more production. They need to set up. And that's what soO is a master of taking advantage of. Now, Ryung, on the other hand, is a very technical late-game player who unfortunately lacks the mechanics of someone like Maru. So often when you play a very defensive, kind of late-game style, the problems you can run into is getting surprised by all-ins, which Maru often defends off of the cusp of just amazing reactive micro. Ryung will sometimes die to those all-ins. On the other hand, Ryung also, when he does do very committed like 3-base timing pushes, if the opponent's very good at giving up ground and just dragging the game out, he kind of gasses out. Like, he gets very all-in when he's all-in. Ryung doesn't really go for what starts as an all-in, realizes the opponent's not going to let him finish them and start transitioning while continuing the attack. Some players are really fluid at that, whereas Ryung will kind of, once he's dug in his heels into a big attack that he's saying, I have to win with this, he usually won't transition from there. I'm sipping a chai tea right now in between games, and Twitch chat's now arguing about redundant words because I am drinking a chai tea, which is a TT. It was saying, what do you say? You call it an ATM machine as well? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I actually do call the ATM, which stands for automatic teller machine, an automatic teller machine. I'm pretty sure I do actually say that sometimes. Yes, I am a nincompoop. What can I say, guys? Extra redundancy. What if you didn't hear the first word, the letter? Then I say it again. Smart. Big brain preparation, you know? Okay, so the Viking's going to clean up the Overlord. This is a 3cc build, and he's getting a defensive Banshee, guys. So that's just, oh, okay. If I get hit by a big Roach attack or something, I got a Banshee. Also, it's because I'm playing mech. He's playing mech. Oh me. Oh my. Double armory goes down. How did I know? How did you know, Pig? Third and fourth gas. You don't want to get that till after you get your second and third barracks, and usually 2 engineering bays as well. So the fact that he went 4 gas before barracks was the tell there. I should just never tell you guys tells and pretend I'm a wizard. That's actually like the way to cultivate like a bit of a cult for your like commentary, is like you don't explain why you know things. You just go, I sense a disturbance in the force, you know, and then you make some outlandish analysis of what's going to happen 3 minutes in the future, then it happens, and you just act like you've got this magic intuition. That'd be fun. Zergling's coming in. Everyone would just assume you pre-watch the game. Oh, that's actually like a common thing. I see people in my comments sometimes, they're like, oh, can you stop pre-watching games? And I'm like, what? What does that even mean? You mean, like, and then I'm like, oh, wait, they actually think, I guess there's probably someone who does it to sound smart, where they watch a game, so then they can, you know, kind of set up things before they happen and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's pretty hard to do that authentically, but, yeah. I've always said to that, I'm like, how much time do you guys think I have? You guys know how busy I am? I have so many video games to play. The last month or two, I've been grinding so many Civ games. You guys think I have time to play friggin' 1 billion hours of Civilization when I'm not streaming and making YouTube videos? If I gotta pre-watch games, there's no way. There's no way. Played Helldivers 2 for the first time yesterday as well with some buddies. Fun game. Okay, Ling run by. The Banshee is there. He should probably run these SCVs. Night Hellions are there. Okay, now he knows it's mech for sure. So soO knows that it's mech, and he immediately drops a Roach Warren and an Infestation Pit. He was playing Mutiling Bane, or Ling Bane, I should say, not Muters. And he was going to plan to play Hydras, in fact. Now, Hydras aren't bad versus mech, and in fact, this is Trad mech. Guys, he's going Thors and Medevac. Is he going to do Hellbat drop mech? Oh, Ryung, you make me so deeply happy inside my pants region. Oh my lord, I love Hellbat drop mech. It's so fun. Hellions getting some decent shots off, but ooh, letting him get surrounded a little. soO does have to back away though. These Hellions gonna back off as well. Okay, so we've got a 4th hatchery coming up, 8 gases. Great economy here for soO, but he's kind of stuck on like Roach, Hydra, Ling Bane, which is a very awkward comp. I call this the North American composition, because Roach Hydra kind of end up blocking your Ling Bane in a lot of these fights. So it can be a little bit odd. I like the Hive. The quick Hive is a good idea. The faster we can get that out, the better. Vipers would be amazing. Oh, he's going to commit to Hellbat Thor timing with a Raven. Watch out for the anti-armor missile. That could be big. He's going to anti-armor the Hydras. Nice. Thors coming in. Hellbats as well. No Banelings to clear up those Hellbats. He's wishing he had a few more Banelings ready right now. The drone's a little slow to evacuate that base. The Roach Hydra's hanging on. They're clearing the Hellbats. And he should be able to clear out the rest of this army as well. But those Thors causing a bit of a ruckus and trading out those Hellbats for a lot of Roach Hydra. Did he lose anything? Okay, he lost the Banshee. Sorry, I thought he lost a Thor with one of the Medevacs carrying it. But a few drones do go down. Units lost tab is in favor of Terran. And it's a good way of just making sure the Zerg's a little slow on their tech. Now, we see transformation servos in 2-2 on the way. Meanwhile, the tier 2 upgrades have not started for soO. He's got Hydra upgrades, Roach upgrades, Aspire. So he's thinking about Brood Lords. And if you get rid of the Thors, that will be great. There we go. +2 melee, +1 range comes in. The Roaches don't have Roach speed. The Hydras don't have Hydra speed. They're going to be finishing soon. They're just not done just yet. There is a tank on the left and a planetary on the way. If he can get rid of this base, that could be big. But it's scary committing without Roach speed. Honestly, he might take the first tank shot and just run away. No, it's soO. Zero fear. soO's gonna commit. soO goes for it. He dives on top. Does take out the front tank, but those tanks in the back are doing a lot of damage. SCV's pulled off the line. ByuN needs to defend this position. If he loses this position, he's in big trouble. The Thors are refusing to die right now. Nice hot pickup on the medevac, and that was a great defense for ByuN. Now 2,300 resources ahead in the units lost, and Hydra's getting wrecked by aliens as they try to retreat. Nice play there. 2 Vipers start up. As I said, soO will build 2 or 3 Vipers or Infestors once in a while. Very unlikely to rebuild those if they ever die. Now, the problem for him is there's Vikings already pre-building and going up to 8 factories, not to mention 2-2's already almost done. ByuN has 4 bases set up as well. He's on 8 gases and a 5th command center almost finished. ByuN is on a tear right now. He's got a very good mech setup. If he can also make a ghost transition, it could be unstoppable. On the other hand, how good is soO versus mech? Is soO good enough and technical enough at dealing with mech for you to need to go ghosts? Because like I said, soO's not prone to building many spellcasters. If he builds a few Vipers, you just kill them with a few Vikings, and then he doesn't rebuild them. Why bother with ghosts, right? It doesn't make sense. You just make more Thors, tanks, and Hellbats. So that's actually not it might be a good idea to just stick with pure mech. Normally players who want to go for ghosts with the mech, they will go for the barracks after 5 factories. The fact that he's already on 8 factories does tend to indicate that he wants to do it that way. Did he just scan? Scans the middle.
Upgrade complete.
He's looking for Broodlords, I guess. 9 Corruptors are on the way right now. Broodlords will be coming in the near future. Double Armory has finished 2-2. No gas for the next one just yet, but the gases are being taken up north. Aliens driving around looking for run bys. soO's got a pretty scary army right now of Roach Hydra. He can definitely abduct a bunch of big units, kill them, disengage, or land really good blinding clouds. Nice aliens driving in here, taking out a good amount of these drones. Very nicely done. It's more of a distraction than anything else. ByuN doesn't care about doing too much damage. Just takes out a bunch of those drones and, oh, fight in the middle. The Roach Hydra's kind of outnumbered, though. This is the scary thing, is in these sort of fights, if the mech army's maxed, Vipers aren't enough. You also need things that actually do damage. He's abducting Vikings. I mean, killing the Vikings is nice, but oh, he's going to lose one. No. Yeah, he loses 1 Viper. He does take out that Viking. He's going to start clearing the Hellbats, but this allows ByuN to take an amazing position. The Hellbats are cleared, though. You got to be careful. Corruptor goes down. Oh, the second Viper goes down. It does land a blinding cloud, but there's so many tanks in the back right now. Look at this, guys. The tank spread is huge. Broodlords do come forward, though. The Vikings are gone, which means the Broodlords can clear this. He's going to try and take out that base to the south. Up here, the siege tanks, notice he's trying to focus fire on the Queens. But at this point, the Thors do have to pull away. He's going to try and take out a few more of these Queens if he can. Those tanks are going down. This base in the south does fall. ByuN taking out a bit of soO's economy. Yes, the Broodlords are a good answer right now, but as more Thors, Vikings, and Starports come into action, that is going to change. Oh, ByuN, big mistake. Big mistake for ByuN. Oh, no. If he just move commanded away, at least a few of these tanks would have escaped, but they were on attack move, and he does lose all but 1 of those siege tanks. Down 1,600 resources right now. We've got +3 vehicle plating starting, +3 vehicle weapons almost done. Remember, it's only 1 range carapace with +2 melee. soO's making more Hydras right now. He's just gonna... the Vipers died. Remember, he's not rebuilding them. I sometimes feel silly making statements like this, like absolutely, where I'm like, he'll make 2 spellcasters and never rebuild them. I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm exaggerating when I say stuff like that. But so far, there is no spellcaster rebuild. It's literally just Broodlords and a max of Hydras. But there's no answer to the Vikings. The Vikings already take out one of those Broodlords. Another one will fall. And there we go. Nice kiting with the Viking Thor. So really well played by ByuN. ByuN's in a good position. More Corruptors being built. I think Corruptors are very good for dealing with Libs. They're okay for dealing with Vikings. But I don't think you want to be stuck on mass Hydra Broodlord. Surely not. He needs Vipers. If he goes Vipers, he can use either Parasitic Bomb or Abducts to deal with Vikings. He can also Blinding Cloud the Thors, which could allow him to win this fight. But maxing on Hydra Broodlord is an objectively awkward composition. It's not great, because Hydras, they need spellcasters to be that effective. Now, I mean, I think he's basically saying, hey, you're going to make all this Vikings, mass Thors, and then I'm just going to have so many Hydras I jump on top. He's rebuilding 1 Viper now. He's realizing, like, mass Hydra needs spellcasters to be effective, Vipers especially being the key, but he needs more than 1. He should be going for, like, 4 or 5. This is a very awkward position for soO to be in, and as I said earlier, in that game 1, you don't need to be greedy against soO. soO's late game is not good. He's very good in the mid game, and we're still in the mid game. Kind of. It's the late mid game, but it is still the mid game. Great Hellion catch on some of these Hydras. Killing that 6th command center was good. Remember, there is a 5th up top, and lots more command centers building, though. So this doesn't hamstring Ryung's economy. It's still 5 base against 5 base. Ryung has actually had an income lead after killing this hatchery in the bottom. Hydras, they do clean up those Hellions and a Cyclone. Here we go. Corruptors are going to come forward. More than enough Vikings to deal with those. And this is just such an awkward setup for soO. He's got a single Viper. He's still just making Hydras right now. I don't even know if Hydras even beat Thor Hellbat, guys. Do they? I don't think so. If it's even supply, I think the Thor Hellbat might actually win, especially if there's a few tanks in the back. It's an awkward position right now. 6 Thors, 9 Vikings, 10 tanks and 5 Hellbats. The Broodlord's getting pushed back. A second Viper has come out, but oh my god, it goes down. The first Viper's already fallen. Next one comes down, does drop a Parasitic Bomb. These Vikings are just going to stand and fight. Does pull the Parasitic Bomb down to the right side. The tanks, if those tanks focus fire on the Queens and the Hydras, they are getting shredded. The Broodlords are getting shredded as well. soO attacking into a choke point with Hydra Queen Corrupted Broodlord against Thor Tank Viking Hellbat. And it does once again remind us soO is a master when he's got the momentum, when he has the numbers advantage. But he is not a spellcaster comeback master. He is an overwhelm master. And we're seeing that if Ryung has the setup he needs, he definitely can take soO out. Even though soO has had a more illustrious career, he is a Katowice champion, Ryung is still a force to be reckoned with. He's shown that, taking out guys like Clem in the WTL, having occasional masterful matches versus the best players in the world. And it looks like Ryung should lose the tank rally eventually, but only eventually. Oh no, he's not even going to lose it. More tanks come in. The north side is held by Ryung. The south side looks like it's going to eventually be cleared, but soO's lost everything in order to hold that position. And Ryung does tie up the series 1-1. All right. Game 3 to decide the series. Ryung goes for an SCV scout. No chances here. Not against Mr. soO. soO has been known in the past to do some very cheesy build orders. Mix those ones in. Now, he went to pull off gas. Then he said, wait a second, I need 100 for Ling speed. So he's decided to go for that. Now, he's trying to hide this drone from the SCV. Oh, he sneaks it around. Nice. And is he going to... I think he's just going to come back in from the left. Ah, he's like, where's your third hatchery? soO. Nice little detail here, guys, because getting your third on this map blocked sucks. It's really bad. But he manages to get it down, and Ryung is going to be like, ah, man, when did that drone sneak out of there? Ooh, don't lose the Reaper, bro. Third command center's on the way, as well as factory into reactor. Very standard opening for Ryung. But if he doesn't take a second gas soon, I would imagine that he's going to go for a second barracks. And indeed he is, guys. I think this is the second barracks opening. No, it is a starport. Never mind. Just going to hide that one over to the left side. To me, looks like it'll be probably a Viking or a Liberator to start. Now, soO here has 2 queens, third one building, and a very quick Roach Warren, no Ling speed. He's mined a crazy amount of gas, guys. Guys, that's an insane amount of gas. He's left 2 on gas this whole time. Okay. Is he doing the same build as game 1? It's a 33 drone roach timing this time. This is like the exact same sort of thing. Wow. So he's just decided, hey, this is how I like to do it, man. And if you skip Ling speed in general, you're a little vulnerable to Hellion harass. So if you just go for your own roach aggression, it kind of counteracts most Hellion harass because they're forced to defend. And then you can drone up behind it. It allows you to just skip this kind of dangerous phase when 4 Hellions could dive in. Now, the Hellions come in, they don't really see anything. No drones at 4 minutes is in of itself not a big tell. This might be a tell that there's only 2 queens we've seen on the front, only 2 creep tumors. Maybe Ryung could realize something's up. He's gone for a Viking. He is building a safety Banshee, though, which is so important. Because once again, the roaches are trying to sneak out. soO is going old school with this. Look at that, he hides the roaches. The Reaper Alien goes to the right side. Oh, they might see it, though. They might see it if he's not careful. He's trying to sneak these roaches out. They still haven't been spotted. And with the Banshee building, I think Ryung will be fine as long as he doesn't fight the roaches. Okay, loses a Reaper. Now he knows what's happening. What I mean by that is just don't fight on the low ground. You have to fight on the ramp. But I've lately seen a lot of players against this, even when they have a Banshee out, try to fight at the front. Oh, no. Oh, he's going to try and use the high ground Not against 10 roaches. That's way too many roaches. You've only got 1 Marine, 1 Viking. To the high ground now! Okay, Ryung's trying to pull back. soO's going to shove. I mean, he's always going to get a lot of mining time lost. But as long as you raise that depot and the Banshees out, you can do some surprising damage. Does focus fire that SCV. Good micro by soO here, getting a fair bit of damage done. Another SCV. He's so good with his focus fire. He always just grabs whatever he can. And I think he'll slide away now, realizing, look, any second you stay here means the Banshee will get more kills. And he's just going to drone up behind this Lairs on the way. Double Evo Chamber will go down in a second. Because this is exactly when he went for it last game, was 515, 520. He might have to build a few more roaches, though. He's got to turn and fight those Hellions, at least. Oh, gosh. Good chase by ByuN, man. Really good chase by ByuN, getting some damage done here. I do wonder if it's worth just sending the Hellions back to heal out, though, now. Because this army is very damaged. I think trying to force damage here might be an overcommitment. Double Evo has not gone down yet. Does feel like soO is maybe a little more committed this time to the roach attack. Ooh. Big thank you for the cheers, by the way, gang. Really appreciate it. Spore Crawlers are going down. We've got Double Evo at 6 minutes this time. So 1-1 timing will be later. On the other hand, it does feel like ByuN is maybe a little bit slowed down as well. Still got to be wary of that 1-1 timing. But this time, soO's like, yeah, upgrades are a bit later. I'm just going to play Hydraling Bane. So he's completely moving away from roaches, guys. He's making a few Ravages and a 3rd roach. So he wants to have 3 Ravages. Why? 3 Ravages can one-shot a Liberator. They can one-shot a Siege Tank, more importantly. But that also makes it look a bit more like you might commit to more Roach Ravager. And actually, it's just melee carapace. We're going to have Bane Speed, Hydra upgrades, and 80 drones. Which is... Hydraling Bane is a very scalable comp. It goes right up to the late game very well, especially if you use spellcasters with it. It can go even to the end game. Viking Harass is going to try to come in here, but unfortunately for him, the drones do run away. So ByuN's not really going to find anything with that. You know, gets nice and fancy, doesn't really get any damage, and the Queens will push that Viking away. Now, for ByuN, in this particular game, he is going up to 5 barracks, 8 barracks, in fact. Oh! So he's going to do an 8 racks Marine tank push. That could work. soO's already on 90 drones, though. I mean, to be fair, that's too many. You can see soO's, like, oversaturated on his 4th pretty badly. But just goes to show, like, he's going to make so many units here. Baneling Speed will be ready. He'll have mass Hydraling Bane. I feel like as ByuN, you have to go extremely all-in or extremely defensive from here. And since he's got 8 racks, it's extremely all-in. That's kind of his only option. Is slightly supply block for a moment. Hellions do block these Zerglings. Very nice. I think he's probably going to look to push down this way. Try and get tanks around this ledge and slow push into the natural. Because if you can drive a wedge between their bases, that can be very effective. Ravagers, though, those 3 Ravagers will actually be so good at sniping tanks. Because he's only building 1 tank at a time. It's basically a Marine all-in with a little bit of tank support. +2 attackers started for ByuN. No, +2 armor for him. 1-1's going to be finished for Zerg by the time this attack gets here. ByuN is going for it. soO only has 4 Banelings right now. He needs to morph more Banelings. He's morphing 12 Banelings as we speak, but he's got to get in position to slow this down. ByuN shoves deep in here. Tank Hellbat Marine with a big pre-spread. He's getting up forward. A couple Banelings do connect with some Marines and Hellbats. Oh, the Biles, only 2 of them land. 1 of them did miss. A Ravager falls as well, which means no more lethality on the future Bile waves, at least not on the full hit point tanks. The Marines and the Hellbats coming forward. Here come the Banelings finishing morphing right now. He's so deep on creep right now. Lings are there on the other side. Banelings and Hydras and Zerglings rolling forward to the Marines, trying to get away, but they're so deep on creep. The tanks have been eviscerated. They have been cleared off the face of the map, and only a few Marines and Medevacs are going to get out of there. That is a brilliant hold for a soO who's on 90 workers. soO is miles ahead in this game. And what a simple way of doing it. I open, I mine with 2 workers, I make a quick Roach Warren, 32 to 33 drones, I make 8 roaches, I attack with them, I drone up to 66 drone, 3 base roach behind it, and then I either swarm you with mass roach or I just swarm into Lingbane Hydra, one or the other, right? And it's just such a great way of playing, and soO pushes his income, finds himself so far ahead on supply. ByuN at this point probably needs to start delving into maybe Liberators, and basically just lean into the all-in and dig for a fight. Like, look for good trades, set up around this ledge maybe on the high ground, and just try to play it very slow until you're maxed, and then try to force a big good engage. Good up pickups, only loses 2 Marines there. soO's got time to work. He's got time to make the magic happen. 5th base is up on the left side. His main has transferred. His natural doesn't even need to transfer workers yet. It's not even 10 minutes. And yet he's maxed out with an immense amount of money. Infestation pet's half done. 2-2 halfway done as well. Even adding Overlord speed, soO is looking like a force to be reckoned with in these games. Baneling Hydra chasing after those Marines. They will pull back. Good focus fire. Very nicely done there. Yeah, Liberators coming in is big. Just because they're kind of awkward for Zerg to deal with. Even when they've got Mass Hydra, it's kind of awkward moving into tank fire and lib fire at the same time. So you can get up like 4 to 6 libs, 5 siege tanks, and a ton of Marines. It's just awkward attacking into that with Zerg. Unless you can surround or flank him, or if he's really deep on creep, which is why ByuN is setting up quite far back right now. And soO wisely goes around. soO says, I don't need to fight that dude. That's nowhere near my economy. I'm just going to counterattack. The Marines move out. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, that was not a good move. Oh, those Marines moving out of the ramp. ByuN is just going to get busted. And this is a great fight for soO. He says, yeah, I don't need to fight into your massive siege on the front. Just going to shove it through here. This base down in the bottom is going to go down, but that's soO's 5th base. It's his least important base. It's got a 6th base up behind it anyway. Down to 30 SCVs. 3rd command center is going to fall as well. And now soO can go, okay, you're crippled at home. Let's come back. Let's group up and try to deal with you. Now, he could try to roll Banelings into these Marines, but now that the tanks are sieged and the Marines are starting to spread out a little bit, that's going to get harder. He'd like to catch ByuN unsieged. Here we go. Tanks do start to get some shots off. The Marines, though, getting hit. Tanks starting to go down. 2 tanks fall almost instantly. The Hydras close the distance, and with that ranged damage, they kill them so fast. ByuN trying to pull off creep. He knows he's too deep in Zerg territory right now. Oh god, it's equal upgrades. 2-2 against 2-2. The Lingbane Hydra clears the siege tank. He doesn't continue there. He realizes, uh-oh, those Marines actually have pretty sick firepower. Let's wait for more Banelings. But as long as you survive here as soO, you're good. He's even building an Ultra Cavern. A great way to get some big, chunky, meaty boys up front. And, of course, they have splash damage as well, without being anywhere near as vulnerable like those Banelings are to getting sniped down. Lingbane Hydra Ravager does take out a medevac, almost takes out another one. These Marines are going to back away as well. soO pushing forward with the Ravager Lingbane Hydra. That Baneling does connect. ByuN's down to half his supply. What can he do, man? What can he possibly do? He's basically out of this game, and it all comes off of the elegance of that opening. Just 8 roaches, gets such a big delay on ByuN's build, and then he just speed runs his way to 80 workers, mass Lingbane Hydra, and has an absolute party. You could see that he's a savage. He stayed in the game to kill a few medevacs and Marines there at the end, but that is excellent efficiency, and soO is going to find himself in GSL once again.